I mean, this is a sport that's on the precipice of irrelevance.
The games are taking over 3.5 hours. Playoff games are taking over 4 hours.
Game's too long, too slow. Who cares?
This is a situation where baseball's in trouble to begin with.
I hate to break it to you, baseball's dead.
Baseball is dead.
Rest in peace.
Unfortunately, I'm back.
Hey, welcome back.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is I love the show. Big fan.
How's your head?
Head's fine, man. I ate that shit. I know that you were making fun of me in the comments and all that, but like,
no, what?
What a gangster reaction that was. Just fucking boom, just like. Anyways, we got these interviews, or what's up? What's good? What's good? Who's next? 110 off the bat, back of the head, got JFK'd out there, chilling.
You bounced back though. I mean, not,
couldn't even move me. Imagine getting hit with a 110 exit velo baseball off the back of the head, and you just fucking.
If that's a direct blow, you end up pissing yourself on live television.
It was a direct blow. That was not a skim job. It hit me right here.
Glancing blow.
No, it hit me right here. Like,
let's see it. Let's see it.
You got a bump?
Hair. There's no bump, but I mean, it's definitely bruised. It was like purple.
Glance.
There was no glance. It was a direct hit. But yeah, I mean, it's part of the job. Hazard pay, as they call it. And but it was very fun to be out there. I was saying how the like this draft class, at least like the first round guys that I've gotten to speak to, super humble. Like there's definitely been other classes where 95% humble, like good kids, whatever. But then you also like, you see certain individuals walking around like they're like, all right, dude, like we get it. But this class, I mean, I got to meet our guy, Rock Chalowski out there. Couldn't be more down to earth, normal, just humble kid. Like I'm excited for him and his future. But I would say this year in particular is probably the most top 20 draft prospects that I've gotten the chance to actually like sit down, talk to, and meet and get to know a little bit. And what a great group. Like rooting for all. There was no one where I was like, yeah, fuck that guy. You know what I mean? Yeah. So super excited to follow the draft this year. But quick shout out to our presenting sponsor, Kalshi. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning that there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. And for a limited time, download the Kalshi app. Use the promo code BID to get $10 when you trade 10 Kalshi. That's KALSHI. Trade on anything. So question for you, Dallas, because this has obviously been a big talking point at the MLB draft combine with the draft 2 weeks away, whatever it is. It's the Saturday before the All-Star game. And the new CBA, one of the things that's being talked about is whether or not they will ban being able to draft high school players. So the rule would be that in order to be draft eligible, you either have to turn 20 or play at least 2 years of college ball. Who do you think this benefits? Like, do you think that this is a good thing? So, like, I was talking about this with one of the first round guys, and I was like, if I'm a high school kid coming out of the draft and I know that I'm going to be a top 10 pick and I've got like $5+ $10 million coming my way in the draft, I obviously hate this. I would rather get my bag and start my professional career at 18 years old. But the fan in me is looking at it saying, well, now college baseball is going to be can't miss if you have some of these would-be top 20 draft prospects that are going into college baseball. Because if they get drafted out of, first of all, you can't stream their high school games. And if they are taken in the first round and sent to single A, like you're not going to be sitting down watching single A baseball to catch their at-bats or something. But with ESPN Plus, no free ads, like there's plenty of ways to watch college ball. So if you've got, would have been the number one draft prospect that is now playing for UCLA or LSU, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna watch that. Like I'm gonna tune in. So like the popularity of college baseball is gonna spike. But what does Major League Baseball have to gain from that?
I think you, in some ways, have probably already answered your own question. And it's understanding, number one, when you start to truncate the draft, you are slimming down the pool of talent that is available. And what do you do with those players? You then funnel them into a major money-making endeavor that you have a hand in, which is collegiate baseball. And from there, you are starting to minimize the responsibility of minor league baseball and where you are at in regards to that. And you're turning, and do you remember me telling you guys this? I mean, this was months ago when we were talking about this. And I told you, they're going to start to try to turn college baseball into the proving ground, the developmental league for the major leagues. College baseball will turn into minor league baseball. And that happened when they shortened the draft. That happened when they eliminated minor league teams. These are precursors to this. And that's exactly why this is now a very real topic, so much so that it's presented in the collective bargaining agreement that was presented by ownership, by Major League Baseball. That's all this is. That's all this is. And now think about what...
Before you continue, this is an important detail. Does MLB have a relationship with the NCAA? Will MLB stand to profit in some way if college baseball skyrockets in popularity and revenue?
You have to believe so. But
we don't know that officially?
Not officially.
Okay.
Yes.
Because that's my question is why would MLB be incentivized to drive top talent to the NCAA instead of their own minor league teams?
Wouldn't that be as they continue to try to cut out the minor leagues because they don't view it as profitable, or in the same way that maybe college baseball could be marketed, especially with NIL money and all these things coming in? If anything, going back to the last CBA, we saw levels of the minors start to get destroyed, teams go away, a lot of these different things. I think this is just further down this path because, like Dallas was saying, the proving ground of college baseball becomes the new minor leagues, but a better version and something that's easier to sell than when you look at high A footage, Jared, and you see the camera and it looks like it's in right field.
It looks like it's a fucking
Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball can then start to invest like what is like the NFL and their relationship with the combine, right? And what they have, what are they doing there? Well, they're taking all of the game's best players at the amateur level and they're pedestalizing them. They're preparing society to fall in love with these players and turn college football, which it already is, into the machine that it is, so that once they get to the NFL, and this is where the difference in sport comes in, is because the guys who are at the combine, a lot of them are going to be impactful players on Sunday. So they go from doing book reports and playing on Saturday to impacting the best level in the game on Sunday. From a collegiate baseball perspective, and just let's circle back to the 18-year-olds who are getting cut out of this, the 18, 19-year-olds who are getting cut out of this. Is there an impact there on the international draft that you see? Because
there's going to be.
Because, I mean, the 17-year-old kid from the DR, still good to go, right? 18-year-old kid from the DR, still good to go. 19-year-old kid from Venezuela, still good to go. So now you can almost start to envision cheaper labor. I don't have to pay these. I can offer these dudes. They'll take the money because they want to go play. They want to get started. I don't have to contend with paying other people because they're not even an option. So here you go.
Right.
Take this or leave this because I've got a pool of college kids that I'm going to start to pick from.
And that's why I think framing it as in what way will this be profitable for Major League Baseball to what Milky was getting at almost, misses the immediate point. That could be the downstream impact, but I think the immediate is just a reduction of cost for Major League Baseball. And I think it's a damn shame that instead of their response at every turn under this administration has been to pull back on investing in that product rather than compensating those people. And I think that's really unfortunate. And I don't it's unclear to me how this will benefit the game of baseball. To me, it will not do that. It will in general make players like Dallas. Let me build off of Jared's question. In what way will this help the process that you hear about all the time around the park that you tell us about, which is that we have never been dumber about the way that we go about playing baseball, right? The fundamentals of baseball in a lot of ways. Working around the minor leagues, eliminating the minor leagues, making it a college to pros sort of situation. How will that even come close to addressing that thing? Or maybe there's no hope of it, or there's no desire to address that. But to me, it would feel like that's running counter to improving that sort of thing.
So I'm not sure I fully understand.
So I don't like. So if we're just going to continue not investing in the minor leagues, right, and just pull back at every turn and make college baseball the proving ground, as you were saying, how does that improve the situation as it relates to the issue that you talk about all the time, which is a fundamental preparation and readiness to play?
Well, it doesn't. It hurts it.
Right.
It hurts
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. Yes.
Because what happens at the collegiate level, and coaches will tell you this to the extent that they can publicly, there's little interest in developing players at the collegiate level. Very little interest. You want to know why? Because collegiate baseball is a results-driven level already. Because if you don't win, you kids, if you don't win, I lose my job. And it's ever more so now because you kids are getting paid hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if you don't win, I get fired. And this goes back to the conversation that I've had with countless top-tier college coaches about developing the catcher position specifically. You want to know why college kids don't get to call their pitches? Because if they end up calling the wrong pitch and run the kid on the mound into a bad pitch and that ball flies over the wall and we lose the ball game, you're going to get your NIL money. You want to know what I don't get? I don't get a second crack at it as the college coach. I get fired. I got to go. So you want to know what I can't do? I can't entrust you. And this is how college coaches, believe it or not, talk about some of the kids coming through their program. You think I'm going to trust a kid who's grown up in the travel ball circuit, who doesn't have a feel for the game? You think I'm going to trust him to all of a sudden start to understand this game on a level that I think I do?
And a
absolutely
fair question
not.
to be asking, by the way, given their incentives, correct?
Oh, absolutely. And the other thing is, Major League Baseball has relationships with summer leagues and summer development programs, right? So that's the whole point that I'm talking about, is that's where they stand to gain, is by continuing to drive kids into these money-making endeavors where, sure, there's sponsorship opportunities turn into eyeballs turn into viewership turns into ad money. So you see the cycle here. And the whole idea that college coaches, until the camera comes on, will admit to you, dude, I'm sorry. I don't have time to develop a catcher and develop these players to the extent where I can now trust them when we're in Omaha to call their own game. If it's my job on the line, you want to know who's going to be calling the sliders? Me. I am. Or the pitching coach that I'm paying. Like, buddy, we just lost our pitching coordinator, our minor league pitching coordinator, to a collegiate program. He's going to be making significantly more money as the college pitching coach than he was as the minor league pitching coordinator. You heard that, right? He's going to go to a lower level, the amateur level, and is probably making 3 to 4 times more than he was developing professionals that are going to impact a major league organization at the minor league level, he's going to be making significantly more money doing that at the amateur level, at the collegiate level. Why? Why? Because of the money generator that college sports is. They can afford to spend that kind of money on quote unquote player development, because what you would love to do is to be able to create a pipeline that people want to go to, right? You want kids to want to grow up and come to your school because you have this available to them, whatever this may be, whether it's a pitching lab, whether it's whatever unlocks these hitters. That's what everybody's chasing. That's what everybody's after. So why would we waste our time fiddling around in the minor leagues? What do we care about the minor leagues for? Like, let me make something abundantly clear. Do you want to know why we have the minor leagues? Is because we need teams full of players that will never make it to be there, so the good guys have somebody to play against. That's the harsh fucking reality of minor league baseball. That is just the harsh reality of it. That is the simple fact of it. And it's no bigger mystery than that. There's no deeper understanding than that. That is the fact. Why do we have minor league baseball? It's so all the good guys have guys to play against. Because if we didn't have that, where would they go? That's what college baseball is going to be for. That's it. That's it. That's it. What's going to be tough.
And now, because of like the NIL and all that stuff, it's like now you don't have to pay the players to play against the guys that are going to make it to the big leagues.
And that's also, I think, where, like, at least we're getting the MLB PA pushback is, like, you look at right now the 12 biggest contracts of all time, and 11 out of 12 of them are international guys or guys who are drafted out of high school. So by getting them to start their clock later because they have to go play 2 years of college instead of going all the way until their junior year, well, that guy, when he's out of his rookie contract, he'll be 29, 30. It won't be Juan Soto at 25 years old. Holy shit, you're getting $800 million. Look at all this money someone's going to pour into you. They're kind of limiting your overall career earning potential by doing it this way.
I mean, I'm pretty convinced that what you just laid out would be more detrimental to players' long-term earning power than a salary cap. Like that is devastating. I mean, to Tyler's point, it would eliminate the absolute highest end of all of these deals. Juan Soto doesn't make it to free agency as young as he is. Nobody gives him $800 million. Bryce Harper doesn't make it when he does. Manny Machado, et cetera, et cetera. Their age was the big appeal there. And, the other thing, and this is one of those soft factors that MLB will push aside and have pushed aside already. So I'm not pretending like they're going to start caring. But you think about the number of communities that are having baseball ripped away from them fundamentally with the way that they've treated minor league baseball, the retraction that happened, I've lost track, but however many years ago that was, 4 years ago.
It was like 25 teams.
Yeah, it was a significant
21.
number of teams. And the tea leaves here would suggest that is sort of just the beginning. And, it'll be replaced by college baseball. Those communities will have more robust access to college or to baseball in general in a lot of ways. But there will be a lot of communities that have no other significant relationship with baseball, and certainly not professional baseball, that will not have those anymore. And I think that is a downstream, long-term, very detrimental thing for Major League Baseball, that current owners in their 60s, 70s, and 80s don't give a fuck about, because they're concerned about current day franchise valuation and how much money they're able to extract from these franchise in the near term.
What's tough to swallow for me, and this is, baseball is now an elitist sport. I would not, as a kid, if I grew up in today's age, I would not be able to play baseball. Because there's no way my mother would have been able to afford, number one, the equipment. Sure, I could get a base level glove, which is what I had, and I'd still learn how to shove it up your ass. So you'd have a tough time stifling me. But I would not be able to go and play on these travel circuits I would not be able to go to these showcases. That would just not be a thing. But I believe still in my heart of hearts that talent will rise. It's hard to be good and people not know about you, especially today. But to think that baseball has gotten to a point where, for me, it's what hockey was when I was a kid. I didn't have the money to afford the equipment. We didn't have the ability to get me to and from the place that I had to go to, because hockey, I mean, it's a fucking chunk of ice you got to go skate around on, and you got to pay for that. It was not accessible. It was not something that I could have ever done, something I wanted to do, but it's something I just did not have the opportunity to do. So, baseball.
I know you said that you believe in your heart of hearts that talent will rise, and I understand where you're coming from. That's true if you let the talent mature to a certain degree. If that talent gets snuffed out at 6 or 7 years old, because to your point, that kid never even had the chance to really build on that potential, because that's all it is at that point, right?
Yep.
That's how it gets snuffed out here. That's how it stops, to your point about it being elitist. It's not the 14, 15, 16-year-olds who are out there and performing. It's the people who never even had it, the children who never even had a chance to see whether this was a thing or not.
And let's not get it twisted. Do you want to know what travel ball is? Travel ball is to baseball at the lowest level, at the youth level, what I just told you minor league baseball is. You want to know who pays? Put it like this. When I played football, when I was a kid, I didn't pay my entry fees. I didn't pay for my uniforms. I didn't pay to go and travel when we went and played for the Delta Youth National Football Championship in Las Vegas in back-to-back years. I didn't pay for that. You want to know who did? The rich kids that were on my team. They paid for that. Their parents paid for that. So they are on the team. And some of you parents who are listening to this right now, you're those people. I'm not telling you that you're a bad person because of it, because all you're trying to do is enrich your child's life and experience through sport. And you only have certain avenues to do so at this point. And I sympathize with that. And I understand why you would choose to make those decisions, because your hands have been tied to an extent, because there are no little leagues for you to go and play around in anymore, because those little leagues get poached because people say, well, you know what? Tom, who is the mechanic down the street and has an auto body shop and played college ball, has put a travel team together, and they go to Huntington Beach and they go to Arizona, and so I think we should do that. Don't you want to do that? Like, wouldn't it be fun to be able to pack up and drive to Arizona and spend a weekend there and play games? They've even got these tournaments going on during spring training, so we can take the boys and we can go play in tournaments and we can catch some spring training games, blah, 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 blah. You see how this is turning into who has the dollars gets to play? That's what travel ball is right now. Travel ball exists. So
these
the kids
are
exactly.
Reels like I couldn't believe seeing an 8-year-old mic'd up on the mound or at second base and he's talking me through the game. I'm like, this is on so many levels now. They're trying to make it, profit, money, all these different things. Now it's a status. It's something you can use as a symbol.
Yes. Yeah. Look, it's.
I don't want to be talked through a game by an 8-year-old.
Crazy.
Right.
And no offense, the kid clearly was not the best player on the team. Like, you could tell.
Yeah. But that's where right, branding, because now what that kid can do is generate dollars through social media sponsorships, because all of the equipment companies that start to see this kid post content, what do they want to do? They want to turn him into a billboard, right? Here's our stuff. Use our bat. Wear our glove. Wear our batting gloves. Wear our protective gear, because we see you posting every weekend and we see that people are watching your videos. So here you go. You're incentivized around every corner to turn yourself into a brand. Every opportunity is a brand opportunity instead of learning how to fall in love with the game. That's secondary. It's agonizing. It breaks my fucking heart, because I see where this is going. The toothpaste is out of the tube. There's no putting it back. It breaks my heart.
Yeah.
Because I told you guys this story. I'll leave you with this. I had a guy, we had a guy on our team this year, still in the organization, who has a facility back home. And he has travel teams that he coaches, that his facility coaches. He brought the parents together and explained to them that they would not be going to certain tournaments. They would not be doing certain things in terms of just packing the kids up and traveling. What they were going to focus on was the development of the children and their skill sets. He told me that after that meeting, he had over 50 kids and their parents quit the facility because they were not going to play in tournaments. They were not going to be participating in tournaments that specifically offered trophies and rings to win. He said, you would be astonished how many parents actually cited the opportunity to win a ring for their kids. And now that that is gone, they would no longer be participating. They would no longer be attending the facility. He looked them in the eye and said, take your money and go somewhere else if all you're worried about is that, because what I would rather do is develop your child and develop the love that they have for the game and the skills that come along with it. And the parents said, you know what? Not really interested in that. Instead, I'd like to go away for a weekend, totally willing to pay for it. And I'd love the opportunity for my kid to win a ring, even if he's not somebody who plays consistently on the team. That's the kind of mindset that is out there. That is the kind of mindset that is prevailing right now. And that's fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah, very lame. Dallas, you got to get out of here. A's got a scheduled loss today. I did see that the A's have the worst home ERA in baseball.
What? Yeah, but if you look on the road, top 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you have to play at home.
Second best road ERA. Oh, well, I mean, it's a combination of like playing on the moon and then playing in a different level of the atmosphere. So
and you only really play there like a little bit. So I think it's going to get probably worse when you have to play there all the time. I don't know. We were just looking because the Red Sox had lost
they're garbage,
to the Rockies.
Huh? They are bad.
They lost to the Rockies, and we were like, man, they must suck at home, and they do. And the Red Sox still couldn't score against them. And then I was like, man, there's only one team worse than the Rockies at home, and it was the A's.
That happens. You know, I mean, like I said, we played a week in Vegas outdoors.
Yeah,
those numbers will help skew the perspective.
I said that caveat in real time. So
just talk about Gage jump. That's all you gotta do, Dallas.
Sexy.
No, he has to go, I think.
Yeah, he's gotta go.
I do gotta go.
Yeah, out of time.
8
Thank you,
minutes
Dallas.
over, actually.
Let's go A's. Yep. Quick timeout from BID to talk about our friends at Baseball Lifestyle. I'm beyond fired up that we are partnering with Baseball Lifestyle. I'm wearing their sweatpants right now. I had the t-shirt on last night. What a joy. What a joy to open up my closet every morning and be like, what Baseball Lifestyle shirt am I going to wear today? What short sleeve hoodie am I going to wear? What pair of sweatpants am I going to be super comfortable in today? If you've spent any time around this game, you've already seen and you know about this brand. The gear around the dugout, on the travel ball parents, on the kid taking cuts at the cages. Where there is baseball, there is BL 101. And here's the story. Back in 2013, a baseball-obsessed 15-year-old started an Instagram for the game that he loved, and today he's turned that into one of the biggest baseball apparel brands in the country. Over 500,000 customers stocked nationwide at Dick's Sporting Goods and Academy Sports, and here's why we partner with them. They make gear for the exact people listening. That's you right now. Tees, hoodies, and hats that you'll actually wear off the field, plus a premium Pro Series for the serious player. I've been repping the brand for about 6 years at this point, and I'm looking forward to many, 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 many years in advance of this. It's actually, I think we're probably talking about doing some All-Star stuff together. I don't know. It's a little rumor going around that we're going to be doing some All-Star stuff together. Very excited about that. Baseball Lifestyle offers youth through adult, the whole baseball family. This was a brand that we've been impressed with for a very long time. We're absolutely thrilled to make them the official baseball apparel company of Baseball is Dead. New collections drop every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern, and they're limited. And when it's gone, it is gone. And your first order, you can use the promo code BID for 20% off at BL101.com. It's more than a game, it's a lifestyle. Go get yours at BL101.com. BaseballIsDead101.com. Use the promo code BID for 20% off. Wow.
Hey, it's Tyler Milliken. I've been thinking about this a lot lately because I've tried to do the weight loss thing on my own before, and I think the biggest problem for me wasn't that I didn't care. I did care. I just didn't really have anyone telling me, hey, do this, not that, stick with this, here's what's next. And when I was in the middle of baseball season and watching games, getting on the pod, we're up weird hours, especially these West Coast trips we've been dealing with, and it gets really easy to tell yourself you'll figure it out tomorrow. Back in 2020, I was able to drop a bunch of weight, but I wasn't doing it in a way that was sustainable. It wasn't a way where I really learned the healthy habits that I needed to make sure my future and where I was going forward was going to be in a healthier place for my body, for my mental health, and for all of those things together. So I started Awaken 180 recently, and so far, that's been the biggest difference. I met with Skylar, started the next day, and now I've got something to follow. I'm using the Awaken 180 app. I'm staying within my restrictions. I can track my carbs, my proteins, my calories, all these things throughout the day. I'm mixing in longer walks. I've been at the gym, grinding, sweating. I'm sending pictures to people every day while I'm there for accountability, and I'm already down 14 pounds in 2 weeks. The weight just melts off with Awaken 180. But more than that, it feels doable. It's not me trying to be a hero by myself. It's a medication-free weight loss program providing free support for life. If you've been waiting to get help, go to awaken180weightloss.com, the official weight loss program of the Boston Red Sox.
That conversation is going to be intriguing the more and more it picks up steam. Because like as a fan, like I get it on the player side. Like if I were a high school shortstop that was going to go in the top 5 picks, guaranteed somewhere in the top 5 in the MLB draft, and I've got a nice payday coming my way with that slot money, I wouldn't want this. So I feel for those individuals. But as a baseball fan, yeah, dude, like having the top high school players all having to go play for Texas and LSU and, you know, all Arkansas, all these top programs, Tennessee, and now you're getting those players that never would have played college ball otherwise, all within the same pool playing against each other, and you can watch it on HD TV. Yeah, I mean, like that to me is something worth getting excited about. But again, like I feel for them, but
it also, and this is going back to what Jay was saying, I think, Jared, we were just in Portland, and like you see an entire community gather around, and like you're talking to people like, yeah, maybe I get to one major league game a year, but here in Portland, like I come and I see 10, 15 games. Like this is my home during the summer. And that's AA. I know we're probably talking about a lower level of the minors at this point, but we remember how people used to talk about the Lowell Spinners. Like for a lot of these places throughout this entire country that don't have access to a big league ballpark, these minor league teams are their kind of roots to baseball. They're where they fall in love. They have local writers covering these teams and doing these different things. They're their own ecosystem of baseball content and being a baseball fan. And as you go away from that, just like we can watch maybe LSU or whoever, imagine what those tickets are going to become. It's going to be like very college football-y. Like you're going to start to move into a lot of that realm. So I don't know. It does worry me for certain generations and demographics in this country, depending on where you're at, to not have the same access to the game maybe they once did.
Yeah. I mean, not to completely make this about myself, but like my very first job out of college was stringing for the Kane County Chronicle and doing minor league baseball games as part of that for the Kane County Cougars. And if I don't do that, it's tough to say that led directly to a job down the line. But if I don't do that and say, oh man, sports writing, like baseball, like, yeah, man, like this is really what I want to do. Am I here with you guys? Do I have the last 20 years of my career, almost 20 years? Like, no. And so, you know, to Tyler's point about the communities that are supported by some of these things, I live 5 minutes from the Yard Goats Stadium. Like what becomes of that? And it's like, that's just one example of one thing. And I know we're probably years from that being a topic, but I know what you're saying about there will be concentrated pockets of excitement and reasons to get excited about the setup if they do move to this. But that's all going to be tempered for me. And really, tempered's too light of a word. It's going to be ruined for me in a lot of ways because I know what the backdrop was, and it wasn't, we want to grow the game in the right way. It's not, we want to share this wealth of baseball with communities and players and all this sort of stuff. It's to all the points that we've talked about leading up to right now. And to me, that's just not heart in the right place stuff.
Yeah, we don't want to pay minor leaguers.
Yeah, we don't want to pay people, which is what it's always fucking about. And it's like that is draining as a fan to know that you're always pushing against the league. And it's not just baseball, of course, but like pushing against the league in that way in terms of we tune in for the players, right? Despite what Bill James might posit. We do tune in for the players. So without their spectacular athleticism, and that's never been more true than the players in the current crop of baseball, I'm just not interested. And yeah, it sucks.
Yeah. I guess we'll see what happens. It's not going to be an overnight immediate thing, but it is something that was a topic of conversation at the MLB Draft Combine.
Yeah, good idea by you to talk about it.
Yeah, because I don't know. I feel like there's got to be someone that covers the game in some capacity that can come on and shine some light on what Major League Baseball's motivations would be outside of, not having to pay minor leaguers to play against the top prospects that are hoping to become big leaguers someday. Like, what are the motivate? Like, there's got to be some sort of financial incentive beyond not paying minor leaguers. Like, if there is some sort of like handshake agreement under the table with NCAA where it's like, yeah, we'll send guys that would have been going to our organizations to you, and hopefully, more people will pay attention to college baseball. Yeah, I would imagine there's a pipeline between the two organizations.
But when we talk about all these young players, like sub 25 players that are impacting the game like they are right now, you're now talking about a world where they don't get drafted until 20. Then you're going to go make double
Bryce
A.
Harper was already in the big leagues before he would have been eligible to be drafted.
Juan Soto was 19 years old. Like,
so
these are the issues. So when you start talking about being 20 and then you're going to double A, well, let's say it takes a year, maybe two. It's like, all right, well, you're getting guys at 22. They're going to hit free agency at 28, 29 years old.
I mean, it's a fucking scam, dude.
That's it. They're just trying to limit a lot of those massive contracts guys have been able to get in their mid 20s now because it makes the owners uncomfortable. And I guarantee the smaller teams are saying, well, we could never afford a player like that. So let's try to make it more even for everyone. When in reality, you could afford them. It's just more of a choice than actually acting.
Also, I think with, we're looking at it as the players are getting like a delayed start on getting to the big leagues this way, which it can be absolutely true in the cases of Juan Soto and Bryce Harper. They were already in the big leagues by the time that they were 19 years old. But let's just say for the traditional route, I don't think that MLB teams will look at their freshman and sophomore years of college as like they didn't happen. And once you get into our organization, then the clock starts on your development as a professional. I mean, like, look at Paul Skeens. It's like if you dominate college baseball and then you get over here, and I mean, it was just a formality of maybe 1 year total in the minor leagues, and then we'll call you up. And the last, call it half season of his minor league career was just a farce. Like, everyone knew. It's like, dude, why didn't he make the opening day roster? So,
but that's exactly the point. Is that that is the best possible scenario for the team, right? They draft a guy, they give him the bonus, they get an immediate return on that bonus, and they get the best years, most likely, not for certain, but most likely of Paul Skeens' career at a market rate that is so far below what he would otherwise be compensated that they have. And then all the risk after that is probably somebody else's problem. And he will not be able to earn what he otherwise would have by this delay. And that's like, to your point about they're not going to look at this freshman and sophomore years like they didn't happen. I agree. They're going to look at it like it happened. They're not afraid to pay that player. To Tyler, to the point we've made a couple times, like they're trying to lop off the top end, right? Mm-hmm. And if they cut off the head, if they cut off these precedent-setting contracts, then spending the money on everything else, that's just part of doing business. And I think most teams would probably sign up for that. It's these, it was once Pujols, it's now Soto, like whatever the deal was of the era. That's I think what's happening. And it's just like, I also want to see players when they're ready to play baseball. You know what I mean? Like I don't care about college baseball. So I'm coming at it from an extreme end on that. I have no emotional investment.
But you will. Maybe
I will, man. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll be forced to, because this is our job and that will then become part of the job.
Sure.
But like, if I was a neutral person who wasn't in love with the game and then also compensated to follow the game. Like, I do think there will be some people who don't follow to the college game and are like, I have no emotional investment to this. I haven't followed it for 20 years. I don't know the fabric of the sport like I do Major League Baseball or minor league baseball. I'm detaching a little bit. And I think that's a possibility for some people.
Yeah. Well, I think that, so here's, all right. So 2 points that I want to make. The first one is, I'm not saying that this will make, someone like Tyler emerge as like, oh, I'm a Texas A&M fan now. But I do think that a lot of us will get that ESPN Plus subscription. Mm-hmm. And like, I had it when, so I kind of,
so I'm ready. Yep.
Yeah, like I stopped paying attention to college baseball when they like outlawed all like the props and the celebrations and stuff. I got really into it. I almost feel like it was partly our fault. Like no one was paying attention to college baseball. Then they were doing the bat flips and they had like the prop hammers and stuff. And we really started putting a focus on that, but like only that part of it. Like I was doing the bat flip grades and I was, tweeting clips of all like the fucking Virginia Tech had like the hammer, and immediately they were like, cut that shit out. No more of that. And I was like, all right, no more of that. Then no more of me giving a shit. Like, what are we doing? So I do think that it'll be less like, all right, I'm going to pick a team and become a fan of that, but more, your like kind of how we do. It's like, it's an overall like wrap up of like, here are the guys that you need to know. You need to know these names. They play for these teams. Here are the seasons that they're having. Like something like that would be valuable to me. But the other point that I wanted to make, and it's kind of the only, analogy that I ever know how to make in these situations, but it reminds me a little bit of WWE where, back in the day, you had to go and perform at the bingo halls and the high school gyms. And it's like, well, we had to earn it. And we were on the road 300 days a year, going over to the fucking senior center, performing in front of 17 toothless hicks. And we had to earn it. And then like overall, like over time, they were like, you know what? That's stupid. We can now have our performance centers and we go out there and we bring in, guys that get cut from the NFL and professional dancers and cheerleaders that, they want to try this out. And then we coach them at these professional performance centers. And then they go from here straight to the main roster. And Major League Baseball, and I'm not trying to, defend not paying minor leaguers and all that, but how many of those single A players are ever going to see double A, never mind the big leagues? So it's kind of like it's cutting out the bingo halls and the gymnasiums that you have to wrestle in. And it's saying, all right, here's NCAA for 2 years. This is our performance center where they have like the TrackMan data and they have all the biomechanics and stuff like that to work with these guys. The facilities in some of these D1 college, like it's like they're fucking $20 million facilities. The gyms that they have, if you're playing for a single A team, it doesn't feel like you're in professional ball.
But that's bullshit. That's the problem. And
I understand that. I understand that. But if you are playing for a single A team, it's like, yeah, you might have like some data and stuff, but like the life that you're living and the resources that you have are nowhere near what you would have if you're at Vanderbilt. Like you go to Vanderbilt and it's like, now I go play for a fucking random ass single A team. It's such a drop off in quality where NCAA for those 2 years is your NXT performance center. And then you can go from there to a double A or a triple A team and be just that much closer to the big leagues without having to, I paid my dues and I was riding the buses and, I played at these fields where the lights didn't work. And, the catering was, we had a couple of like 3-day-old cheeseburgers. Like, you don't need to do that. Like, I get it. The old school approach would be you got to pay your dues and you got to grind and you've got to earn it. Or you can look at like the example that like WWE has never been bigger and they've never had bigger stars and more athletes. Like it used to just be like roided up guys that, like I looked the part. Now they have freak athletes because they chose to invest and develop them. Same thing with Major League Baseball. Like we can just put these guys into these facilities that are $20, $50 million facilities. And then from there, you're going to double A.
Because somebody else is footing the bill.
Yeah,
and that's
sure.
what sucks. That's my issue.
Sure,
with everything.
but you're
because
still going to get a better. You're still going to. So what's one of the main complaints right now about Major League Baseball? They're not teaching them how to play baseball, right? Like you are getting. And I've talked to people off the record about this plenty of times in different organizations. It's not just the Red Sox, different organizations being like, the same way that pitchers only care about fastball velocity, hitters only care about launch angle and exit velocity. They care about hitting the ball hard.
Because you want to show the front office what it takes to get promoted. That's what they're looking for. They're not looking for you.
If I throw 102, I'm going to get the fucking call of the big leagues. If I can hit the ball 115, I'm going to see some time in the big leagues. I was talking to Mikey Lowell about this at the Combine. He was there and he was like, I get it. You want to hit the ball hard, but if I just throw my barrel out there and it's a fucking 75 exit velocity single to right field, I want my hits. Like I'm not going to, at the end of the day, go back to the dugout and be like, 0 for 3, but I hit the ball really hard today. I want to be like, yeah, like I went 2 for 3 with a couple of dinky ass hits to right field, but like they're still hits. I drove in a run. That's baseball. And I feel like at the college level, when you're playing for some of these top college programs, we talked to Brian Abraham about this, the Red Sox farm director, about how do you teach baseball, how do you teach winning at the minor league level? And you can't really do that. Like you can't. Those
but
guys
even Dallas
are there.
Was saying, right? Like
those guys
college,
are there to
really
perform and get called up. Those guys are there to showcase themselves and move up the ranks and hopefully get to the big leagues. In college, you are learning how to win because winning matters. Winning matters big time at the college level. And you are getting, I would say, more baseball IQ education in a D1 college program than you will get throughout your entire journey throughout the minor leagues. Like they're just teaching you how to be the player that they need you to be if and when you make it to the big leagues. Whereas in college, they're teaching you what you need to do to win baseball games. So if this does happen, like I get the pros and cons of it. It's not a black and white issue. There's a lot of gray area to the benefit to the sport, but I do think that we will see a giant change in like the mental makeup and the DNA of a winning player at the big league level. If these are high school kids that would have went in the top in the first round out of high school, but instead they did have those 2 years in college, there will be a difference in their mental makeup and how their I guess mindset on winning baseball versus this is my skill set. This is I'm good at this and I'm just going to continue to do that. Like there will be a change for sure.
Well, it was interesting to hear Dallas talk about how the development really isn't at the focus for these college coaches. It's simply winning. So I do think there is a middle ground of getting the best players we've ever seen. Well, if it's not really about development and maybe these guys pushing some of these limits, you may be getting guys who know how to win ball games more, but the actual amazement of the players and the ceilings we're seeing that are seemingly jumping what we've seen in past generations might no longer exist. But when we talk about what college baseball is and it having almost this sterile feel to it, I think minor league baseball is the opposite. Where you get a lot of the character, the Big Joe Davises of the world. If you were a Red Sox fan, these characters, these kind of mythical, players that come through. And if you're willing to embrace the weirdness at the minor league level, where you get some of these bat flips, where you get what's going on in Greenville, where there's, blowing a kiss once they hit third base and doing this little celebration they have going on. I think minor league baseball has the ability to get you closer to that middle ground of having both of those. It's just, if you're not willing to invest in it like you have, you get what you have. It shouldn't be a major deal to make sure your players in single A are properly fed. Like this all comes down to someone else having to pay the bill and pay for these things. And that's what frustrates me more than anything, because if you were willing to put that money on the table, you could turn the minor leagues into an incredible product. They've just never been willing to, because it's more money out of your own pockets.
Yeah, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I mean, if you want to have your minor leagues not have the proper facilities, and then be able to point to them later and say they didn't. Oh, well, it's just not. It's because you didn't invest. So
that's it.
You got the outcome you were looking for.
You're just happy to have a big college program foot the bill and do all of that stuff for you. And yeah, maybe it does give you more ways to enjoy the game, or maybe it creates more winning players. But to me, it's throwing away, I think, one of the things that makes baseball great, and that's the minor leagues.
Yeah. All right, Jay. Hey, the Kalshi market for the MLB draft. Our guy Jackson Flora, where he's around number 5-ish.
Yeah, he's the favorite to go number 5 for the Kalshi
favorite
market.
to go number 5.
Yep.
Okay,
Jacob Lombard.
My guy
is also up there. Yeah, but he's 34%, Jackson Flora, to go number 5, which
that would be to the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yep, and that would be the first pitcher to go in the draft. So pretty exciting stuff. He seems to have carved out a kind of tier onto himself in terms of starting pitchers. So whether he goes 5 or earlier, he seems to be likely to go noticeably earlier than any other pitcher.
That is quite noteworthy. So Grady Emerson is one of my pool boys. I think he's probably going to go 2 to the Rays. And then, you disagree, T?
No, I was going to ask, just in terms of the first overall pick, Rock Chalowski, did you take anything with him not meeting with the Twins? I know he met first, second, 4th pick in the draft, and the Giants have been very clear publicly about their love and kind of going the Marcelo Meyer route of trying to promise him so much money above his bonus pool or above his slot, willing to eat into a large portion of their bonus pool to try to scare other teams off. Is there something to that, or is that more just buzz and boredom leading up to the draft?
I wish I could give you more insight on that, because I feel like it's one of those things where I don't really go asking them for info. You know, some of them will offer it to me, that's for sure. You know, some of them will talk about like, you know, I'm hoping that this team takes me, but it's all like off the record, whatever.
I was surprised just to see Chalowski admit that he didn't meet with the Twins. There was no need to say that, you know what I mean? But to kind of be like, oh, no, the Giants wanted to meet with me. Of course, I met with the White Sox and Rays, but no, not them.
Yeah, like that's the interesting part of the conversation is when you have guys that are like, oh, how many meetings do you have today? And they're like 5. And then you ask other guys like, oh, how many meetings do you have today? And they're like 23. So like if you're in that top 5 range, like, yeah, you're not. Like, you know, if I'm Rock Chalowski, I'm not taking a meeting with the Houston Astros. You know, if you have like a mid pick or whatever, like, yeah, like I know I'm going top 5 and it is what it is. So, but Jackson Flora, number 5 to the Pittsburgh Pirates on the Kalshi app. I would say that's a nice little, that's a nice pick. I would feel pretty comfortable in that. Speaking of which, we have Jackson Flora on the podcast.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, we do. So let's get to that conversation.
All right. We are joined by right-handed Top Gun. Quite possibly the best arm that the Gauchos have ever seen. You want to talk about a fucking gunslinger? Let's talk about Jackson Flora. We're talking about the Collegiate Baseball Hall of Fame Pitcher of the Year, the Perfect Game Pitcher of the Year. All the folks who write about college baseball, they're like, yep, Player of the Year. Book it. Golden Spikes finalist, Jackson Flora. Big Dog, thanks for spending some time with us, my man. I know you got the draft coming up, so for you to carve out some time with us, much appreciated.
I'm pumped. Thanks for having me here. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be an absolute blast. Kind of like the fun that you were having on the diamond all year long. It seems like every time you took the baseball, there was a new record that you had in your sights, in your crosshairs. You punching more tickets than a train conductor. What was it? 133 punch outs. That sets a single season record for the Gauchos. And there's been some dudes who have rolled through UCSB here, even as of late. What does it mean to you when you hear your name, when you see your name, not only atop of those leaderboards, but mentioned in the same breath as some of the dudes who came before you?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Still kind of trying to wrap my head around it, but you know, even guys that I played with, Bremner, the year before that, we had, 3 pitchers. So like Shane Bieber, Dylan Tate, all those guys that still are talked about, in the clubhouse and on the field to this day. It's pretty crazy to be in the same conversation as those guys. And, it's good to be able to wear Santa Barbara on the front of your chest and be able to represent that, that culture. So, I look forward to continuing to do that in the next step of my career.
How much of those guys' influence did you take and apply to your game? Because you talk about being teammates with guys who you see take that next step, and that probably affords you the opportunity to look back on some of the conversations that you may have had with them during your time together. And then you realize, like, these dudes are headed where I want to get to. They're headed where you're going to be, my man. I mean, we're talking about like the top arm in the draft. So when you are able to look back and reflect, what sort of, I don't know if it's information, but what sort of influence do you think those guys have been able to have on you?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was those older pitchers setting a really good example for me my freshman year when I first got onto campus. Ager and Gallagher and Bremner, like kind of the weekend rotation, guys like that who, went on to play professional baseball. And, I could come into my freshman year and I didn't really know what to expect. College baseball is a different level. When I'm in high school, I'm just kind of up there throwing the ball, and it usually works because I threw harder than everybody else. And then, I get to the fall, and the first fastball I throw ends up over the fence. So I'm like, all right, I probably got to learn how to pitch a little bit. So, those guys were a big influence, especially on, the stuff off the field. Like, you got to take care of yourself. You got to make sure you're preparing yourself every week for games. You're getting yourself injured or getting yourself in trouble, stuff like that. So those guys definitely played a big influence and set a really good example, and it allowed me to kind of play the same role this year as a junior, setting a good example and being a good influence for the freshman pitchers. So hopefully, in a couple of years, you got another dude on here who says nice things about me.
Sure. Let's go back to that, to what I will call a slap of reality across your face, because I mean, you are like 6'12". You're blowing shoving fastballs down high schoolers' throats. Like, these kids are going to go and study engineering. They're going to go be writing book reports for the next 4 years in school. You know what you're getting ready to go do. So you set foot on college campus, and as you said, it feels like one of the first heaters you let go, boom, gets turned around, and you're now what are you thinking as you watch that ball sail?
Yeah, well, to my credit, it was a fastballs only scrimmage, so that's kind of unfair for me, enough. I feel like, right? So I'm pretty sure he knew what was coming. But, still, fastball's only scrimmage, I probably would have done pretty well in high school. So, he hit it out, and his name's Aaron Parker. He's in the Blue Jays organization right now. He got drafted that year, but he hit it out. There was no question about that one. And I kind of just was like, all right, these guys can hit velocity. That's, it's not gonna. I mean, it still plays. It's still an advantage for sure. But I gotta back it up with something now.
Do you have a moment, or just like one of the most ridiculous performances before you got to college? One of the just most absurd, dominant performances that you put forth. What does that look like? Because a dude who is throwing low to mid, tickling the upper nines, especially in high school, I mean, it's borderline unfair. I know there's great talent all across the nation, especially in Southern California. I mean, just there's skills everywhere. But what was your, like, this is almost unfair. I'm really enjoying life right now, just chucking hundos.
I've actually got a pretty funny story about that. So
let's hear it.
In high school, our other starting pitcher was also great. He went to Riverside out of high school and just committed to USC in the portal. So he was also a really good high school starting pitcher for us. And he would pitch on Wednesdays, and I would pitch on Fridays. And he broke our high school, Foothill High School's record for most strikeouts in a game with 13 in the first week of our senior season. And we were all hyped about it. And I went up to him after the game, and I was like, that record's not safe. We used to just make fun of each other and just, it was, friendly banter.
Dog.
And 2 days later on Friday, I struck out 15 in 6 innings. and he was playing first base. He was playing first base the whole time, just after every strikeout. I think I threw like an immaculate inning in the third inning. The 9 fastballs. I threw an immaculate inning in the third. Oh, God. And we get back in the dugout, and I was like, hey, I'm on pace, dude. I'm on pace. And he was not having it. Yeah. But that was probably the most dominant performance I had before college.
When did the secondary stuff for you start to come into play? Like, when did you start to really polish? Maybe it's polish up, or just I think maybe explore some of the secondary stuff, because to your point, immaculate hitting, 9 fastballs. You could probably tell these dudes what's coming. They don't have a chance. So from there, I think you start to learn like, hey, you know what? I might be doing these dudes a favor if I'm speeding the bat up with a slider, if I'm trying to spin a breaking ball and get cute. Maybe I'm trying to take some off with a changeup. But at some point in time, you realize you do have to develop your arsenal. When did that start to become a thing for you as a young pitcher? At what point in high school or maybe even younger?
I think a little bit right after my senior year of high school, I went and played in collegiate summer ball in the CCL, just like locally for the Walnut Creek Crawdads. And that's kind of when I started exploring and like pitching backwards. You know, I already had good feel for like spinning the ball. Like I could throw a slider and a curveball and I could spin it pretty well. So that's kind of when I started just exploring like, hey, let me start pitching backwards. Let me get ahead. Let me throw this for strikes. And then when I got to campus, like my first couple of bullpens were like, throw this slider as hard as you can. Like Cheget's he's such an incredible baseball mind. And he would just bring up stats and all this stuff about sliders. He's like, hey, like how hard do you throw your slider? And I'd be like, 80 miles an hour probably. And he'd be like, okay, we're going to need it to be 84. He's like, all right, this is the batting average on sliders at below 83 miles an hour. And this is the batting average on sliders 83 and above. And it's like 150 point difference. So he's like, I don't even care how good it is right now. Just throw it as hard as you can. So that's when we really started working on actual shape and actual effective pitches versus just like having a slider. You know, there's a difference between just being able to throw a slider and it actually being an effective pitch. Kind of banged the curveball my freshman year. It was just like a big loopy high school curveball. Wasn't really effective. So I was just kind of, you know, fastball slider, and then I could throw a circle change. I couldn't slow it down. I could never slow it down. So if I ever backed it up, it was just like a meaty fastball. So if I threw good ones, they were good, but it was a little bit inconsistent. So I was a lot of just fastball slider my freshman year. And then after my freshman year, that's when I was like, hey, I want to be a starter. You know, what do I have to do to be a starter? And they're like, all right, let's throw 2 different sliders. Because I could throw like the sharp slider and I could throw the big sweeping slider. So they're like, let's throw 2 different sliders so we have more pitches. And you really have to work on your changeup. I tried the changeup thing again. Still didn't work. I just sucked at pronating. I couldn't do it. Guys were hitting it out of the yard. Dudes were taking it easy. It was just not a good pitch. And but both the sliders played really well off each other. The hard slider and the sweeper played really well off each other with the fastball, so it kind of worked for my sophomore season. You know, I had a pretty good year. And then I was like, dude, I had to figure out this changeup. Like, it just has to happen. So I tried just about every single changeup grip you could possibly think of that summer and in August/September, like right before the fall. You know, I tried Vulcan changes, seam shifted changeups, palm balls, fork balls, splitters, all that good stuff. And then the kick change is just kind of what stuck. It was the most like comfortable. I could kill a lot of spin and get depth, and it worked as like a hard pitch. Like I could still throw it 88 to 91 and it would still be effective. So I probably threw 1,000 of those. I mean, I was throwing maybe like 3 or 4 fastballs in a bullpen and then just change ups. Yeah.
Who showed you the kick grip? Was it a teammate, or was it something that you just kind of researched and tried to get comfortable with on your own? Because that's not something that a lot of guys are even willing to entertain. It almost feels like at times it's like a last ditch, like, all right, let's try to spike a changeup, I guess, because I am trying to kill spin. I do want to kill some like I got to do something.
It was kind of a mixture of like a lot of people. Checkits had a bunch of people doing it the year before. Calvin Prosky, who was our other starter, had started doing it our sophomore year. Reed Mooring got drafted by the Twins that season, and he started throwing it. And my cousin, who plays at San Jose State, had started throwing it too. So I talked to him about it. It was just kind of a combination. I was like, all right, if everybody's talking about this pitch, it must be good. Sure. So I started throwing it. But yeah.
I got to hop in there. What sort of relationship do you have with your cousin, who appears to also be something of a high level pitcher? Like, has this been like a dynamic growing up the whole time? Are you guys kicking ideas back and forth constantly, or is that not what it is?
Yeah, he's like kind of my throwing partner when we go on family vacations. It's pretty sweet. You know, we play catch. We were out in Hawaii over Christmas break for the new year, and we're like throwing bullpens, getting ready for the season together. Because my little brother is a catcher too. Right. So it's like it all works out perfectly. He's my throwing partner, and then my little brother would catch our bullpens. And then, yeah, we bounce ideas off each other. And he was a hitter in high school. So in high school, I was just like, I was a pitcher, he was a hitter. And then he got to school at San Jose, and they kind of tried to two-way and then just became a pitcher. But yeah, we would talk about pitching all the time. It was pretty sweet to have him because we grew up together too. I mean, from the day I was born, we hang out all the time.
Would have loved to hear the trash talk from the parents on family vacation after the kids went to bed, right? Like depending on what the results of that day's batting practice session were.
Yeah.
I want to go back to something you asked, or you, as part of your answer to one of Dallas's questions about the slider, or about your secondary stuff. You were tossing out some numbers. It seemed like you were pretty comfortable, with some of the data that had been given to you on those pitches. What's your relationship with the information, data, analytics, whatever you call it? And like, when do you find yourself digesting that information or implementing it over the course of your preparation?
Yeah, I love that stuff. I think it's, super helpful a lot of the time. It gets to a point. I think I'm more of like a feel pitcher. When I feel stuff working, I just try and create repetition and feel that feeling. But it's good to kind of see. We have an awesome analytics team too at school. We have a bunch of like undergrad students who are really smart baseball guys, and they've built like software and all of this stuff that helps you track pitches and see what's effective and see what's not. And it's pretty sweet. It's like during our bullpens, we'll have like a TV up and you can see all your TrackMan numbers and all that good stuff. But I really like that stuff. I think it's helpful. I think, like after my sophomore year, we look at the numbers and it's like righties are batting, $110 and lefties are batting 285. It's like, all right, we need something to get lefties out. So the changeup is like, all right, we need to come up with a changeup. We need to figure out some way to get lefties out. The hard slider, I think, was kind of the first variation of helping me get lefties out, just because it was, a better secondary pitch, a better swing and miss pitch than the sweeper. But they're like, all right, we need something else to go in there. And so, the analytics team is super helpful, helping you create new pitches, helping you see what's effective. And then the TrackMan and the Edgertronic numbers, all that stuff is pretty sweet.
Go ahead, Milky. You got something? Jump in there.
Yeah. You had mentioned Tyler Bremner earlier, who obviously went to the Angels last year, second overall. Can you just dive a little deeper into that relationship overall and what it was like for you, especially watching his rise as you were still building up in the college ranks? And since he's gotten to pro ball, are you guys still tight? Are you still discussing things all the time? What does that look like?
Yeah, I still talk to Tyler all the time. It was super fun to play with him. I feel like we made each other better. It's good to be around that kind of skill and that amount of baseball IQ, just because it makes the people around you better, which is awesome. I think on the surface, people are just like, oh, like he's so chill, like so laid back. He's probably just up there throwing, but he really understands how to pitch and like how to pitch to his own strengths. And it's awesome to talk to him about. He's really good with understanding, the situation, like how hitters work. I would trust him to call pitches. I think he's really good at understanding that kind of stuff. And then, he was always really good at changeups and I was really good at sliders. So we would play catch together and we would try and help each other out and all that stuff. So it was fun to play with him. I think we made each other better.
Speaking of thinking he's a cool dude, just talking to you, yeah. You've definitely got the laid back nature. Something that we do know and understand about you, though, is there is a competitive fire that burns very deep within. And this competitive fire might even burn off the baseball field. I didn't play my freshman year of high school baseball because my coach and I may or may not have gotten into a mild fracas, as they say. You, my friend, from what I understand, may or may not be so competitive that even if I were to, say set up a spike ball ring, that we might have a little, we might have a little back and forth. Just having some fun with it, Jackson. Is it true? Is there any merit to you willing to square off, not physically, but square off with your coach, a verbal sparring session, because we're talking finals, spike ball, team building, you're going for the throat. This is just rumor. Can you confirm? Can we deny? Can we clear this up?
I think it's awesome that I built a good enough relationship with my coaches to be able to go at them in a spike ball tournament. But
Yes.
yeah, I am very competitive. Spike ball is my favorite sport. I mean, baseball's pretty cool too, but I love playing spike ball, and I talked a big game going into the tournament, so I couldn't let myself down.
Sure.
But yeah, I get competitive sometimes. I may cross the line with my coach there, but he loved it too. He's just as competitive as I am. So
I love that though. To your point, and I think this is something that teams who are interested in the human being and are interested in they know who the athlete is. They've got a great idea of who the athlete is, but knowing that there is a competitive fire that burns that deeply, I think that's something that I know it's something that teams truly appreciate. I have a relationship, a very close relationship with our front office for the Athletics and the talent evaluators. And those are stories that they love. And so I know you might feel like, I don't want to dive too deep, but I promise you, my dude, knowing that there's that competitive streak inside of you is something that gets these talent evaluators super excited about who the human being is, because they want to know how you're going to handle the competition, how you're going to handle failure. And I think that leads me to my next question is what, up until this point, because I mean, you look through the numbers, you look through the career, it's not like you've experienced a ton of failure, but do you have I guess what you could call a low point that you could go back to where you were maybe questioning, like, not whether or not you can play this game, because I think that's obvious, but just like a tough streak where things weren't quite going the way you would like them to have gone?
Yeah, at the beginning of last year, my first 3 starts were good. I was kind of feeling myself, pretty excited for the season, and then I think I went the next month. I didn't make it out of like the 4th inning for 4 starts in a row, and I didn't know what the problem was. I felt good. I was throwing hard. I felt like my stuff was good. I was competing, and it just kind of wasn't working. And so I went and talked to the analytics team, talked to Cheggets, all that good stuff. I got moved to the bullpen for a week. I'll get into that actually in a second, but talked to the analytics team, talked to Cheggets. A lot of it had to do with almost throwing too many strikes. My 2-strike pitches were not far enough out of the zone, or like they were kind of too fat. And, even though I was throwing hard, teams, get scouting reports. They know that they're able to 2-strike adjust and put metal bats on it and, get singles. So I kind of had a tough time there for a month. I was giving up runs. I wasn't really walking guys, which is why I thought I should be successful. I'm like, I'm not walking anybody. What's going on? So we kind of dove into the analytics of it, and like that was kind of the thing. And then I think the biggest thing was just my mentality, which helped when I moved to the bullpen. Going into the season, after my freshman year, we had such an incredible team. We had such a good starting pitching staff. I'd be sitting in the bullpen, every single weekend until the 8th inning when our starting pitcher went 8 innings. I'd be like, all right, can I have a turn now?
Can I play?
You got good, yeah. Hey, good game, guys. Can I pitch? It's kind of like that's kind of what it was my freshman year. I was sitting down in the bullpen. I'd be like, hey, Flora, get hot. It's the 6th inning, and then he goes 9 straight outs, and now it's the 9th inning. And I'm like, all right, whatever. I'll take my inning.
Sweet.
But yeah, so going in my sophomore year, I was like, all right, I got to be like those guys. I got to be going 7, 8 innings every game. And it kind of had me thinking about the 7th inning when I'm in the 2nd. I'd have like a long 2nd inning, and I'd be like, oh gosh, my pitch count's getting too high. I'm not going to be able to go 7 innings today. And then I got moved to the bullpen for a weekend. And warming up in the bullpen, you have all that adrenaline going into a close game, and you're like, just one out, just get one out, and then get the next out. Then after that, get the 3rd out, just finish the inning. And then you kind of take that mentality as a starter. You go into the 1st inning, you're like, the only thing that matters is this out. And then you go to the next out, the only thing that matters is this batter. So I think that mentality switch, being in the bullpen for a weekend really helped me be more successful as a starter, not worrying about the 8th inning, not worrying about all that stuff. You can prepare for that during the week. But once it's go time, it's just compete, get this out, move on to the next one. So I think that low point was really helpful for me and becoming more successful, having a better mentality as a starting pitcher.
Dude, I love every minute of that. I want to tell you this quick anecdote. I just spoke to a former teammate of mine who pitched 18 years in the big leagues. His name is Russ Springer, old fella, but he talked about Wade Davis, a young fireballing Wade Davis who was a starter coming up when they were together, and Wade being demoted, if you will, to the bullpen, and how he talked to him about not looking at it like it's a demotion, looking at it like it's an opportunity to maybe become the best version of yourself. And Wade Davis from then on became a dynamic reliever, an absolute weapon out of the bullpen, and the rest is history. And so for you, being able to do that and take what you did from that moment, that learning opportunity, and turn it into, I mean, last year, you want to talk about dominance, or I should say this year, 12-0, 15 out of the 16 starts you make are 5+ innings with 2 earned runs or fewer. I mean, that is answering the bell. That is absolute dominance. What do you think it was that clicked when you realized, you know what, I'm on a nice run, but this is now who I am? What helped, do you think, turn that dude who you just mentioned going through that weekend in the bullpen to the dude that got unleashed on college baseball this season?
Yeah, I think it starts, obviously the physical improvements got stronger. The changeup was better. Fastball was more efficient. My 2 sliders kind of separated a little bit more. So obviously physically the stuff got a little better. And then I think just mentally simplifying everything. I made some goals at the beginning of the year. I want to be efficient. I want to help my team win. I think I completed that goal, going 12-0, and I want to show up for my team every single Friday and stay healthy. I think I completed that goal. I want to strike a lot of guys out was one of my goals, which was awesome. Yeah, and then I think the biggest thing for me was just playing for the name on the front of my jersey. Not worried about my stats, not worried about, what's going on in the rest of college baseball, not worried about, the upcoming draft, just trying not to think about any of that stuff and just really trying to have fun and play for the name on the front of my jersey. When going into the year, I was like, all right, hopefully, realistically, this will be my last year of college baseball. I don't want to be the dude who's all, worried about his stats, caught up in his stats, and has a bad, kind of fallout year. I just got to keep it simple, one game at a time. I think a weekly routine was really helpful for me too, and not straying off that path, kind of doing the same stuff every single week, helping me prepare. I think that's where a lot of my confidence comes from, is just being confident in my preparation. When you're out there, even if you're not feeling good, on a certain start day, you're like, dude, I've prepared for this. I know I've done everything I can to come out here and be the best pitcher, the best player on the field. There's nothing that can change the past. Just like when you fail, there's nothing that can change the past, right? There's nothing that can change the preparation that I've put in to come out here and perform today. I just got to trust myself and compete. So I think that is all stuff that really helped me kind of, I think the physical stuff helped me each game, get outs.
Sure.
But I think the mental stuff and the preparation and all that stuff helped me do it over the course of, 16 weeks.
When you were back in high school and you were living this 5'4" life before you got to 6'5" and you were sitting closer to that 89, 94 area, did you think it was possible to become what you are right now? Having the patience of getting through high school, maybe not being where you want to be because physically you're not at that point yet. Was it hard dealing with that? Did you start to doubt maybe you'd get to this point? Or was it always just, hey, it'll come at some point, just keep doing the right things and we'll get there?
Yeah, I think a little bit my freshman year when I was super tiny. I was still an infielder. Couldn't really hit the ball very hard. And all of my friends had started to grow and get stronger and start hitting the ball far. And it was a little bit kind of, dang, I wish I could do that. But my dad had always told me, he was like, dude, I was a late bloomer too. I didn't grow until I was 16. So, part of me was still like, oh, I'll be fine. I'll be chilling. My dad would always tell me, be like, you're fine. You'll grow. I grew. But yeah, and then our freshman baseball season got canceled because of COVID. And so we were all at home, and all I had to do was sleep and eat and take ground balls and hit in the batting cage all day. And then we came back, and I was, a foot taller and had a good arm and started pitching when I was 16. And once I started pitching, I always knew that I could play shortstop defensively anywhere. I think I could have, played college shortstop defensively for sure.
Love that.
I wasn't the best at hitting curveballs. I don't know why they kept throwing me them, but I wasn't very good at it. I can hit a fastball pretty good,
Sure.
But, once they started flipping in curveballs and stuff like that, I faced a dude who threw a knuckleball in high school. How the heck am I supposed to hit that?
What?
Yeah. I was like, I'm standing up there. I'm like, dude, this is unbelievable.
That's
So
not real.
I hung that up. Yeah, got rid of that. I'm like, get me out of here. And then, once I kind of started pitching and I realized, hey, I throw a little bit harder than my peers. And, I'm having some success in high school pitching and in summer ball. That's when I kind of started taking it really seriously. Once I hit like 90 for the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, throwing
How old
hard
were
is
you?
so much fun. 17.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
I was 17 and I was like, throwing hard is so much fun. I got to throw harder.
Feels good.
Yeah.
So maybe there's
Feels
so
really
because I was like 17 when I hit 90. So maybe by the time I turn, hundreds probably not happening for me. Milky just like 6'5" is just not happening for
Hey,
you. That's why Milky asked the
I'm at
question.
5'10" right
You're
now.
not
Anything's
growing
possible.
anymore. Stop it.
I was a late bloomer. I believe in you.
Thank you. 28, man. It's happened
Yeah.
later for some people.
You got time.
You got time. So, dude, growing up in Pleasanton, who was your squad? Which side of the bay?
I was a Giants fan growing up. My dad was a Giants fan. Took me to the Giants games all the time. We watched them win 3 World Series, I think it was.
There you go, Cook.
It was 3. I'm pretty sure. I got to make fun of all my buddies that were A's fans.
Wow.
During that time.
Wow.
It
This
was
is
good.
awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
The stadium was super cool.
Yep.
It was really nice.
Mm-hmm.
There was the water and the food was great. And,
You ever make it to the Coliseum?
once or twice for a monster truck jam. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I would go there too for the Warriors games right next door.
Oh.
Damn. Was that like a setup? Was that like an alley-oop? Jesus
Bro,
Christ.
I did not know. Trust me, I would not even ask the question if I knew that these were any of the answers.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'd root for the A's too.
My
I love it
goodness,
too.
Devastating.
you want to talk about an absolute flame job. That did not work out the way I wanted it to. So who was the dude? Who was the poster on the wall? Like, who's the dude that you were like, you know what? I like this game. I appreciate this dude's type of game. Maybe when I grow up and I get to be 6'5" and I throw harder than 82 right now, I want to be that dude.
Well, growing up, I played shortstop, and I went to the same high school as Crawford, so it was
There
cool
you
to
go.
look up to him.
Sure.
I've worn number 2 my entire life, so I was a Jeter fan. When I was a shortstop and all that stuff, and then when I started pitching, I kind of started enjoying, just good pitching, kind of across the league, college pitching, good pro pitching, and I would watch all sorts of guys that, I wanted to model my game after, which I thought was, I started to enjoy just more of baseball in general, which was pretty sweet.
Is there somebody, who do you like watching now? Who's your favorite person or people?
Ooh, to watch pitch.
Or
I like Hunter Green
historically?
a lot.
Yeah.
I like watching
Yeah.
Hunter Green pitch. He's freaking electric, and I think that I kind of could have some similar tendencies, fast fastball, hard slider, and I think the kick change and splitter are kind of similar pitches. So it's cool to watch him pitch. Matt Brash, I would watch Matt Brash highlights until my eyes bled in high school just because of how cool his slider is.
Nasty.
So he's pretty
Disgusting.
fun to watch. Yeah, obviously I watched Madison Bumgarner growing up. He is a dog. All those guys that pitch for the Giants, Tim Lincecum, electric. I just enjoyed good pitching.
I know we're wrapping up, but I got one more to slide in, DB. If we got,
Yeah, please.
all right, just kind of a simple one. Game 7 of the World Series, 3-2 count, bases loaded. You're going to strike the guy out. That's kind of a foregone conclusion. Obviously, I'm sure you've reached the same conclusion, but what's the perfect scenario? Is it a strikeout swinging or is it a strikeout looking?
I think a strikeout swinging. I think I would throw, depending on the batter, but if I could throw a changeup and get a strikeout swinging, that'd be awesome.
Ooh.
I
See,
think
that's-
probably my
you're
favorite pitch to get a
diabolical.
strikeout on. Yeah.
You're diabolical. You want to undress this dude, basically.
Yeah. Come on.
Jackson, do you think there's a higher ceiling? Do you think there's another tick to go from a velocity standpoint? I think watching Mizorowski right now, everyone's wondering, like, how far is this going to go? How far can guys take it? Do you think you're going to be able to throw even harder with more development and more time?
Yeah, I think, there's always room to get stronger. So I think as long as I can keep myself healthy, that's what's most important. That, if I keep getting stronger and keep working on it, I think the velo will come as I grow older and, turn into more of a man, that the velo will come. I don't think I'm too focused on like trying to gain velo or anything like that, but I definitely think that as I get stronger and develop more and become a better pitcher, that the velo will come.
2 more questions. The first one is, how did we celebrate hitting a hundo? Was there, did you celebrate? Or was it just like, you know what, like that? Yeah. Slow day at the office, standard, expected that.
Yeah, I think I drove 14 hours from Corvallis, Oregon back to Pleasanton, California right after my last start in Corvallis. Yeah. But it was pretty sweet. I think I came home and hung out with my family. There really wasn't much celebration, to be honest. I couldn't believe it at first. I was like, all right, like I hit 99 a couple times, and I was like, all right, maybe I'll hit 100 next year. I'll hit 100 during the season. And there was this scoreboard up in Ridgefield where we were playing. And I talked to one of my friends on the team, and I was like, and the scoreboard showed the velo. And I was like, dude, if I hit 100, you have to take a picture. Like, you just take a picture of the scoreboard. And I kept looking back at it, and it kept saying 99 on the scoreboard. And I was like, oh my gosh, now I have to wait till the fall. All right, because it was my last start of the summer. And then we get the TrackMan report after the game, and it says 101. And I was like, what? Like, why didn't it show that on the scoreboard? The scoreboard only had like 2 like digital numbers, like a basketball scoreboard. And then it said 101 on the TrackMan report, and I couldn't believe it. I texted probably everybody I know. I was like, you guys got, like, all my high school teammates, my coaches, my dad. I was like, you guys got to see this. There wasn't much other celebration.
No, I mean, maybe I just asked that question because I would still be celebrating today if I hit 100 miles an hour. I'd be in jail.
Never heard
Jackson.
the end of it.
That's what I said. If I threw anything 100 miles an hour, I'd be in jail because I would just roll around town throwing shit at people. Like, that's what I would do.
That's fun.
Dude, you've been very gracious with your time. You've been incredible. The last question that we ask everybody is, if we put you in a hot tub time machine and blasted you back into the past, and you could watch any moment in baseball history, you could be there to watch this happen. Any moment in baseball history, what would it be and why?
Yeah. Can I bring somebody with me?
You know what? Nobody's ever asked that question, but you throw 100 miles an hour. You can do whatever you want, my dude. Absolutely.
All right. You know what I'm going to do?
Tell me right
I
now.
will bring my mom to the Mother's Day perfect game. That I forget who threw it, but there was a perfect game on Mother's Day. And I would bring my mom to that game. That would be fun to watch.
That was a good makeup, Dallas.
This is America's right-hander. This is America's 1-of-1. Jackson Flora. Jesus Christ, my dude. You totally redeemed yourself. Brother, I can't thank you enough, man. Best of luck to you in your journey through the draft, your journey into professional baseball. You have a group of fans here for life, no doubt, myself included. It really just takes one answer. I loved you before. Now I'm in love with you. That is Jackson Flora, everybody. The gaucho amongst gauchos.
All right, we got to talk about Shopify because BaseballIsDead.com, where we have all of our merch, that is run by Shopify. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the United States, from household names like Baseball is Dead to Section 10 to brands just getting started. Getting started with your own design studio with hundreds of ready-to-use templates, Shopify helps you build a beautiful online store that matches your brand style. Accelerate your efficiency, whether you're uploading new products or trying to improve existing ones. Shopify is packed with helpful AI tools that write product descriptions, page headlines, and even enhance your product photography. Get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you. Easily create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling. Best yet, Shopify is your commerce expert with world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping and processing returns and beyond. What if people haven't heard about my brand? Well, Shopify helps you find your customers with easy-to-run email and social media campaigns. And what if you get stuck? Well, Shopify's always around to share advice with award-winning 24/7 customer support. Tackle all those important tasks and in one place, from inventory to payments and analytics and more. No need to save multiple websites or try to figure out what platform is hosting the tool that you need. Everything is all in one place, making your life easier and your business operations smoother. And did I mention their iconic purple Shop Pay button that's used by millions of businesses around the world? It's why Shopify has the best conversion checkout on the planet. And it also helps you boost conversions, meaning less carts go abandoned, which means more sales for you. It's time to turn those what ifs into cash money dollars with Shopify today. Sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/dead. Go to shopify.com/dead, shopify.com/dead. Back to the show. Big thanks to Jackson for coming on the pod. I think that'll be an all-time, at least draft interview. He was great. Like he got it. Yeah, he understood the assignment, as the kids say. But one of the big conversation, dude, by the way, so cool to just be a fly on the wall for like I know I talk about this all the time, but like the draft combine is one of my favorite events of the year because of just like who I get to talk to and just like cue them up on topics and be like, all right, go. Like to, like Mike Rizzo was there. And so just getting to, talk to him about certain things and, what would you do here? How would you handle this? I mean, he was, what was that, 19, 20 years that he was there? Legend. Didn't he get thrown out of a game during COVID? Like, do you remember that? Like, wasn't there like a no fans game that he was like yapping at the ump and they tossed him?
Joe West was the one who tossed.
Yeah.
Oh, was it really?
6th, 2020. Yeah.
That's hilarious. A couple of legends right there.
Oh, it was the day after he announced a multi-year extension too. He was probably really feeling himself.
Yeah. He's like, I want to go get some steak and lobster. Get me the fuck out of here. But yeah, no, it was really cool. It was a really cool experience. And obviously one of the big topics that was very heavily discussed throughout was the Tarik Skubal sweepstakes and how teams are going to be paying attention very closely to, like, his last start was against the New York Yankees. His next start will also be against the New York Yankees. So teams are going to be watching what he looks like, what the body language looks like. He has had 3 starts since coming back from surgery, and it is 16 and a third innings, 16 hits, 10 runs, 9 of them earned, 6 home runs allowed, a couple walks, but 21 strikeouts in those 16 and a third innings. It's a 4.96 ERA, a 5.86 FIP. So not the best results on paper, but here's where we're at on Skubal. So we're hearing that and I guess if everyone's talking about it, then you're no longer a sleeper. But the Atlanta Braves being a sleeper for Tarik Skubal, if you were to insert Tarik Skubal with Chris Sale and Bryce Elder, yeah, that's one hell of a three-headed monster. When you're, arguably you've been one of the best teams in baseball this year. That could make you, on paper, the best team in baseball going into the postseason if you add Skubal. But at the end of the day, Skubal has to be Skubal. So Justin Havens, what is your concern level right now with Tarik Skubal after his performance against the New York Yankees? 3 home runs, 4 earned runs, didn't walk anybody, punched out 9, but the only hits, he allowed 4 hits, 3 of them left the yard.
Yeah, I think my concern level is pretty low on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe like a 3. Okay. His signature pitch is obviously his changeup. He's got many excellent pitches, of course, but that he's allowed 3 homers off of his changeup across 3 starts since returning from injury, whereas he had not allowed a single homer off of the pitch prior to injury, and had allowed, I believe, a total of 3 during the entire regular season for 2025. That, to me, feels less like Tarik Skubal is broken and more like maybe just a very small sample size sort of blip on the radar. What I do think this speaks more to is what we talked about in the lead up to his return, which is that, we all know that Tarik Skubal is great at his fully optimized version, but you have a very narrow window to reestablish that version if you're the Tigers. And we've seen that his return is not going to propel the Tigers forward. He hasn't pitched well enough. They've lost 2 of his 3 starts. It's just very hard to do that as one pitcher on a Major League Baseball team. But they're trying to extract as much value as possible in a small window. And we can say that his velocity is intact. We can say that he's not going to allow home runs off of his changeup every single start moving forward. But an acquiring team is also not probably going to say, here's the full fucking boat for a guy with an ERA and a FIP of 5 through 3 starts. Like, that's just not how this works. So it's concern level for Skubal specifically, very low. Concern level for the Tigers' window to maximize his trade value, not that I necessarily care about that. I would say much higher, 6 or 7.
T, how many starts do you need to see from Skubal where it looks like this to where you're actually now concerned?
It'd probably have to be 2 more where it kind of goes off the rails with the homers like you're talking, because the velocity is up. And I do think these are some of the conversations where you start to wonder, and it was half a tick across the entire arsenal. I think right now it's more of a command issue than control, because like you said, he didn't walk anyone in this past start. But you look at it, he gave up a home run on 3 different pitches. So that tells me it's a rust thing. It's just not being able to spot your pitches where they really need to be. I think this is where you turn around and you look at how quickly he went through his 1 rehab outing and came back to the big leagues. Was there more beyond maybe what the velocity was telling you if a guy is ready? A big part of coming back when you miss time like he did is getting back into your mechanics. And he had a weird moment even yesterday. He hit himself in the nuts. Did you see that on his delivery?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just weirdness of trying to get your body back fully intact, but he got himself really good. I think
the trainer had to come out.
Yeah, and he was just sitting there trying to take a moment. I do think for someone like Skubal, I look at that stuff as more rust than anything else at this point in time. I think within 2 or 3 starts, we'll see him back to where he is, and he is pitching a little bit differently post elbow surgery, however you want to frame it, than before, where he was leaning more on the 4-seamer this year than he did on the changeup last year. And this start, we saw that changeup come to the front once again. But yeah, I'm not really freaking out about anything Skubal related. I think it's just a pitcher getting his feet back underneath him.
Yeah. I mean, 2 of the home runs were Paul Goldschmidt, who is just turned back the clock and having a ridiculous season at age 59, I think it is. He's got a 150 OPS plus, T.
Against lefties, 408, 489, 816, 1304 OPS. That's a 257 WRC plus. And like you said, 155 for the season right now.
It's crazy.
It's unreal what he's doing, and what a cool ending to what that career is ultimately going to be, because last year felt very not sad, because listen, I'm happy to see a player continue to be able to fill a role at the end of his career, but to have a season like this where maybe you can go out on a really strong note, he probably won't. He'll probably try to keep it going, but I love to see guys end their career like this. This is how you dream it up. It's just not reality a lot of the time.
Yeah, I mean, it pains me to say it, but in Aaron Judge's and Giancarlo Stanton and Trent Grisham's absence, Paul Goldschmidt has been I got you. Hop on my back. And, their rotation, when you look at it, it's not a lot of holes. When Max Fried is healthy and Garrett Cole goes on a diet and drops 55 to 60 pounds, it's a scary rotation. You got Rodon, you got Schlittler, you got Fried, you got Garrett Cole. Fucking Will Warren's been pretty consistent. And
I was about to say, I'm a big Will Warren guy.
Ryan Weathers has been good. I wouldn't be shocked if they were the American League representative again in the World Series. They should be. On paper, they should be. It's just a matter of can you stop the Braves? Can you stop the Dodgers? Whatever team ends up on the other side. But yeah, it wouldn't shock me at all if they made it to the World Series again this year. If they've got a a decent enough club. But back to Skubal for a second. Which team stands to become the scariest if they acquire him? Take out the Dodgers.
For me, I think it's Braves or Brewers. I think those are the two teams I look at.
Not the Phillies?
I just don't look at them as that's what they're searching for. I think they need offensive help. I think they have 3 real bats in the lineup right now, and that's going to be at the front of every conversation they're having leading up to the deadline.
If you put fucking Christopher Sanchez and Tarik Skubal,
it'd be crazy
in the same playoff rotation.
But
like,
you can say
I don't
that about
care.
all these teams. That's what's so tantalizing, right?
Yes, but not
like imagine Skubal on the Yankees with that rotation you just
mentioned. Skubal and Mizorowski, that doesn't do much for you.
Skubal and Mizorowski does something for me.
Harrison.
Yes. And Harrison.
Skubal and Skeens, that do anything for you?
Yeah, but not.
Now?
It doesn't do it the same way. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it cuts both ways, right? Like that's why it's such a tough and fun question, because you can say Phillies because it's like, can you fucking imagine Sanchez, Skubal, Wheeler, Luzardo when he's going like, oh my God. But then also like, do they really need that? Like, isn't that too much? Wouldn't it be even more crazy on a team where he's making more of a difference? I mean, you could name many teams where that's the case. I don't know. I think for narrative purposes, for an NL team, I would want him on the Brewers because I think there's something compelling about the Brewers getting, not that it would be guaranteed, but if they got another shot at the Dodgers and had Skubal on their side for that rematch with Mizorowski and Harrison, obviously on a completely different level than they were the last time that those two teams clashed. I'd love to see the Brewers get another shot because that CS last year was obviously one of the most lopsided, I mean, in some ways laughable LCSs that we've ever seen in our lives. Statistically, that is the case.
And it just wasn't indicative of how good the Brewers were. Like they got
it wasn't.
up.
It wasn't right. It wasn't representative of the season that they gave us. But I do think it was extreme. But I think it was in some ways representative of how far they really still had to come as it relates to challenging the Dodgers. And I think that they have made some of those very important gains, and getting Skubal would really be like, oh, so we're going Ohtani, Yamamoto, and whoever is game 3, Sasaki, whatever, if you want to get super sexy, if he's looking
Snell
good.
will be back by then.
Yeah, Snell. And it's Skubal, Mizorowski, Harrison on the other side. Like that would be on paper maybe the greatest series of starting pitching matchups that we've seen in, I mean,
decades.
That sounds like a fun thing for me to research if it comes up and happens. But
the Brewers have the firepower. Like they were number 1 in terms of their farm system entering the year. The Braves, on the other hand, are seen as bottom 5 or 6, and a lot of evaluators aren't super high on what they're cooking with. So like when you're talking about having that package and having that ability, it feels like this is the time for the Brewers to take their shot with the young pitching they have at the big league level, with some of the offensive breakouts that we had an interview on this podcast with Jake Bowers, or we talked about how great Jackson Churio has been as of late, all these different pieces. If not now, when? Because you've kind of lived in this world of getting to the playoffs for a while now and just fizzling out and not being able to get all the way to the top. Well, how about a chance to get to the top and we can have a real David versus Goliath moment where for once, David doesn't seem like he's as down as he actually is. Maybe he has a secret weapon or a tool he can pull out that makes the fight look at least more competitive than it did last year.
And it would be a fun parallel, not that this is important to Skubal or even the Brewers, but it would be a fun parallel to the CC stuff too. You know, kind of driving them and maybe taking them further than CC was able to before going off and getting perhaps a precedent-setting contract as CC did. So, yeah, I think, listen, like, zooming out, we honestly could get to a point where the postseason comes and we're looking at the top 5 teams between the two leagues and putting up a graphic of their starting rotations and saying, I'm not sure that we've seen a top end like this, because Jared laid out what the Yankees could be. And I think they are more than good enough to win the World Series. And if you want to prioritize who's number 3 and 4 in your rotation, I think are probably as good or better than some of these rotations that we're talking about in the NL. But between the Yankees, the Brewers, the Dodgers, the Phillies, and what the Skubal acquiring team could be, I mean, Jesus, pick your poison, man. Like I could be sold on any of those combinations. Because even if the Phillies don't acquire anybody, they still have one of the 3 or 4 best pitchers in the sport. They still have a guy who's pitching like one of the 5 best pitchers in the sport in Wheeler, and who has been that guy for longer than anybody maybe that we're talking about here. And I know that we were joking on the last pod. I know Jared wasn't here, but we were having some fun with Luzardo's weird stat line. You know, there's a compelling part about Jesus Luzardo when he is on, he is as good as any of the pitchers that we're talking about, basically. And that's a pretty compelling thing to have as your number 3, right? So even if they aren't the Skubal team, I think you could still stack their rotation up in a postseason scenario against any team and feel really good about it if they improve the offense and bullpen like we have talked about in the past.
And
if
the
Skubal
Luzardo
ends up
angle,
with a National League team, one of the National League teams that we've just talked about, the American League shouldn't be allowed to participate in the postseason. Like, we should just make it a tournament between these National League teams.
I know what you're doing, but I'm going to double down because I think that the Yankees.
I'll let the Yankees participate.
Yeah, they are on this level. Like,
but they shouldn't get a bye to the World Series, which is what's going to happen again.
It does.
Both times that they've if they make it
now.
this year, that'll be twice in the last however many 3 years that they've just gotten a bye to the World Series. Like, no one has stood in their way. Like, make them have to beat one of these National League teams, not just in the World Series.
We can move on. I think with the way things are shaping up this season, it could potentially be a walk for the Yankees in a way that makes a few seasons ago look downright challenging, because the AL really does. I know people have had a lot of fun with the run differential stuff and the number of teams with a positive run differential. Moving aside from that, it really does look like just a pile of slop in the AL in terms of you're somewhere in the 77 to 87 win grouping, and then there's the Yankees, kind of.
For anyone that doesn't know exactly what it is that we're discussing right now, the New York Yankees have a plus 113 run differential this year. The next best team, not in the division, in all of the American League, the Seattle Mariners are at plus 8. The Tampa Bay Rays are at plus 2. And then the rest of the American League has a negative run differential. The rest of the American League. There are 3 teams with a positive run differential in the American League. The Yankees are at 113. The next 2 closest teams are in single digits. Like, why even have a fucking playoff on the American League side?
We all know that's not how baseball works. We'll see how it is when we get there. Don't get ahead of yourself.
Just sad if the Red Sox had an actual offense.
Yeah, what an avenue
to let those rotations
run
go
through here. Yeah.
I will say on the Philly side, going back to that, I do think the Luzardo thing is a very big part of that, because they chose him over Ranger Suarez when they went and gave him that, new deal and kind of worked things out with Luzardo. They clearly wanted to lean on a younger guy. And what a Brewers-Dodgers kind of matchup would mean, even if it ends up being the series of the playoffs, despite it not being in the World Series, ahead of these CBA talks, would be massive. To see kind of that low, small market team go up against that huge market team that is apparently ruining baseball in some people's eyes. If the Brewers find a way out, that becomes a very, very interesting piece of what I think will be the MLBPA's argument and some of their battle in a lot of these talks.
And if the Brewers don't acquire him, I'm now going to say it's a conspiracy theory where they were instructed not to do that. Yep. Mm-hmm. The league told them not to do it. Yep.
There's something else I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Oh, the Dalton Rushing thing. Yeah. That clip, I mean, for someone that in the last year has developed a reputation for being just, I don't like that guy. And it's not like, but you got to meet him. You meet him and you know him personally and you might like him. You can just tell from afar, just based on his actions and behavior on the field, where it's like, if I met you, I feel like I'd like you even less. I don't know. It's just, he gives off those like douchey, arrogant vibes that I can't imagine that there are guys in that clubhouse that would say that, yeah, he's great. You know, we love this guy. Like, how are you going to try to show up Shohei Ohtani? Like, who are you? Like, the only reason why people know who he is because of all negative things that he's either done or said. Like, that is why he has made a name for himself, or why fans not in that LA market even know his name or who he is because he'll pop up in the headlines and be like, oh yeah, he did another douchebag thing. And then to be behind the plate and be like, Shohei Ohtani's like, hello, I'm fucking like, challenge that. And then he's like, oh, what are you doing, Shohei? Why? And it's like, no, Shohei was right. Like, it's the literal greatest player to ever live. And you're going to scoff at him like he's some fucking idiot? Like, what are we doing here? I don't know, man. Like, it's LA. The market is, you know, cozy and fluffy. And how could it not be? You know, back-to-back World Series champions, and, you know, they're vying for another one this year. So I don't, if he were in most other markets, there would be the first segment on sports radio would be like, get this guy the fuck out of here. Like, we've got something special going on. We have a great thing happening. And it's not like he's not impactful enough to ruin the vibe of the whole thing. But it would be like, yeah, it would be a lot better if this wasn't a part of it. That's just my read on it.
Yeah, I don't have a hot take here. I agree with you that he seems like somebody I wouldn't want to spend any time around. That's probably the headliner for me. But I would say that the only other thing I'll add that you didn't say is that, Ohtani splits with Rushing and Will Smith as catchers. There's about a 4-run separation between the two. It's 4.34 with Rushing, in admittedly far fewer starts, and 0.74 with Will Smith. So I do think that's an interesting data point. And then the other thing is that, you know, his weird stuff, his antics, whatever we want to call it, is at some point going to obscure the fact that he looks like he's pretty good. And at least offensively could be an asset for a team at that position, given that he's posting a 121 OPS plus in 157 plate appearances this year. And if you're right that he's we don't want this fucking guy's vibes around sort of thing, and we already have Will Smith under contract and he's Will Smith, then I do think he could be an interesting trade chip as part of a package for somebody for the Dodgers, if that's how they really feel about it. I obviously don't know if that's how they feel about it, but he's a 25-year-old catcher with a well above average bat for the position. So there would be a market if they want to move on.
Yeah, and we know the Red Sox were a team that was calling on him dating back to the trade deadline, and last offseason there was clearly something to like. But to see the reaction in the dugout, to me, of him smashing his own head over and over again,
weird, right?
Until someone, you know, the mental skills coaches came over, Freddie Freeman, Dave Roberts, they're all taking a minute. And this is because Shohei Ohtani started calling his own game because of the mistakes you were making behind the plate and things weren't working well there. That shouldn't be, I can understand being disappointed in yourself or maybe feeling like you let the team down, but usually with the catcher position, one of the biggest traits is often leadership. What you can kind of do back there. Many people view it as the quarterback of baseball. You're supposed to be the most even-keeled guy on the field. And so far, Dalton Rushing, whether it's been a lack of self-awareness with certain comments he's made after games, talking about other teams, talking about players, like all of these different moments, there's a clear lack of self-awareness. There's a clear consistency of immaturity with him. And you just don't find that with a lot of catchers in the sport right now. And he's 25 years old. It gets to a point where you grow very tired of it. I do think if you are, you know, if he can be the baseball player we've seen so far this year, where you have a 121 OPS plus, you are going to get more of a leash than a lot of baseball players would. But man, that behavior alone probably crosses you off a lot of baseball teams. Just big markets, teams that would have been interested in trading for you. Imagine, and you're saying sports radio, Jared, if Dalton Rushing came here, it feels like Jarren Duran. It feels like one of those things. And those guys in this market, they usually eventually kind of crumble under the pressure and it ends very badly. And for someone like Rushing, it's going to cost a lot to get that type of ball player. So he's probably in the best place he could be on a team like the Dodgers that has the support and the adults to probably tell him where to walk and how to behave. But man, there's a lot of other places and a lot of other teams where you can picture things going very poorly for him.
I want to say it was last year that Chris Rose did a video with like Kike and who else? Was it Miguel Rojas maybe?
No, it was a pitcher. I want to say it was Emmett Sheehan.
Yeah, I can't remember, but he was like, "Hey, like what teammate do you not want to sit next to on the flights?" And like everyone's like Dalton Rushing. So it's like, even if it's like playful, then like the behind closed doors bit is like, yeah, this guy sucks. So I don't know. Like he's 25. There's still plenty of time for him to mature and become a veteran leader type. And to T's point, he's like a 1-win player. He's 121 OPS plus. Like it's not like he sucks. It's just the behavioral patterns are off-putting. I guess is the nice way to put it.
Oh, welcome back to Baseball is Dead Family Feud. I'm your man, Justin Havens, and once again, we resume the 2v2 format, and we're very pleased to be joined. Well, first of all, welcome back, Jared. Welcome back. Good to have you. Very pleased to be joined by Coley Mick, part of the larger family here, of course. Oh, yeah, my bad. Yes, are you excited?
I'm super excited. I'm happy to finally pop my cherry on the dead.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Last time we had RDT, he and Tyler took down Dallas and Jared. So if we can we bring up the wheel? Hit it.
Spin that fucking wheel.
Yeah.
Me.
First.
DB.
Oh,
DB's first round. Wow.
All right. Who wants to win?
This is for Dallas's partner.
Dallas's partner
Tyler.
will be
Tyler.
Here we
This
go.
fucking guy. Milky and his elephants. Here we go.
Tyler and Dallas against Jared and Coley. I love it. Who's going first? You guys can decide amongst yourselves.
I'll go.
Okay, so Dallas and T. Go
No,
first.
you know what? maybe we ought to let Milky go.
All right, Milky's going first.
I gotta go first.
Yeah, you got to go first. Everybody else pop their headsets off.
Oh,
Dallas will go second, and then Jared and Coley will come through after that.
this ain't gonna be good. I could feel it.
And remember, you're competing against the other team, so it's just points are points. You know what I mean?
Dallas can't hear me, right?
He cannot now. He could when I said you're competing.
Let's be real. This is a T-Dog mission. If we don't perform, we're going to be in big trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like I'm sure everybody in their own way feels like there's an undue amount of pressure on them, right? That's kind of what makes the feud beautiful.
Don't comfort me, Jay. Hey, don't comfort me. When
Oh,
we're in the
no.
middle of something like this.
Sorry, that wasn't meant as comfort. I didn't mean it to be taken that way.
Okay.
I meant it to be lumping more pressure on. Question, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. Question number 1. And thanks as always to the BID Discord for coming through. I dropped this one at 2:00 a.m. Eastern time. Always people in there to gobble it up. Question number 1. How many teams in MLB will finish with a worse record than the Red Sox this season?
3.
Question number 2. Name the best type/brand of breakfast cereal.
Cheerios.
Question 3. There are 7 seasons left on Rafael Devers' contract after this season. How many of those 7 years will he spend with the Giants?
4.
Question 4. How many combined All-Star games will the vaunted trio of Roman Anthony, Christian Campbell, and our boy Marcelo make in their MLB careers?
7.
Last question. Name the most abundant bird in North America.
Eagle.
Thank you, Tyler. Dallas, hop on.
Got you.
Great. All right.
How do we do, Milky?
Great. Come on, Big D.
All right. All right. I like to hear that.
I know.
Imbuing you with confidence. All right, Dallas. Here we go. As always, shout out to the Discord. Question number 1. How many teams in MLB will finish with a worse record than the Red Sox this season?
Oh, I know what I want to say. 2.
Question 2. Name the best type or brand of breakfast cereal.
Like what are we talking? Are we talking Kellogg's? Or are we talking?
No. You Milky said Cheerios.
Oh well, fuck. Jesus. Fucking Fruit Loops, guy. Let's go.
That is the type of stuff we're talking about.
That's right.
Question 3. There are 7 seasons left on Rafael Devers' contract after this season.
Ew.
How many of those 7 years will he spend with the Giants?
5.
Question number 4. How many combined All-Star games will the vaunted trio of Roman Anthony, Christian Campbell, and Marcelo Meyer make in their careers?
3.
And question 5, name the most abundant bird in North America.
Pigeon.
Okay. Whoever's going first, Jared or Coley, whoever. Coley, you're on?
Oh, yeah.
All right, great. I just want to make sure you can hear me. How we feeling? Had to sit on
Great.
ice
I
for
feel
a second.
like, yeah, now I know how your deaf listeners enjoy the show.
That's a demographic we're still cultivating. All right, are you ready?
As ready as I can be.
As ready as you could possibly be. Shout out to the Discord. Question number 1. How many teams in MLB will finish with a worse record than the Red Sox this season?
Oh, God. 3.
Question number 2. Name the best type of breakfast cereal.
Oh, God. Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Question number 3. There are 7 seasons left on Rafael Devers' contract after this season. How many of those 7 years will he spend with the Giants?
Can I do half years or no?
No, we're looking for round numbers.
Okay. 1.
Question 4. How many combined All-Star games will the vaunted trio of Roman Anthony, Christian Campbell, and Marcelo Meyer make in their MLB careers?
Combined?
Yes.
You know, Jay, I got that number at 45.
Yeah. Yep.
All right.
You heard it here.
Yep.
Like 6. 6 would be my answer for this, but I'm not shitting on my guys. I'm not going to shit on 15 apiece. Old school.
Yeah. So is it 6 or
All
45?
DiMaggio's.
What do we want to go with here?
6 on the board.
Yeah,
but I want it on
as
the
a,
record
as a guest,
for the
I'll allow
people
you
at
some
home.
Editorializing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, I
You
know
wanna make
45 is. I'm not trying to shit on 3
Right.
future Hall of Famers, Jay. Hey, I don't want
Right.
that on the record.
You're trying to walk the line between, winning Family
Playing the
Feud
game.
and- yeah. I understand.
Even 6, I don't think is going to be what the Discord said.
If that was Jared or Dallas, I would never allow that sort of stuff.
Yeah,
But
that's fucking garbage.
Yeah, as you were going to allow.
Oh, that wasn't reaction. Do you think 45 was a real answer, Dallas, for the game?
Listen, some of the answers on this podcast have been wrong.
Yeah.
Last question. Name the most abundant bird in North America.
Oh, man. The most abundant bird. Am I on a timer? Because I'd love to talk this one out for a
No,
second.
we're not going to talk it out.
No.
In your head, briefly.
7.
No, I'm not asking
6,
for. I just was going to
5,
start naming birds.
4.
You're going to have to give me the chicken.
I just realized I didn't know what abundant meant.
Oh, gosh. That
None of us are
would impact your ability to answer the
Did
question.
you think it was like a type of bird? What the fuck did she say?
Hey!
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I love it. Jared, can you hear us?
I can.
Right.
I can only fucking imagine what you selected. I mean, Jesus.
Are we ready?
I think so.
Okay.
Holy fuck.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Sorry.
Fucking milk. I'm gonna fucking choke you.
Sorry.
He goes,
All right,
ooh.
Are we good?
Yes.
Okay. Question number 1. How many teams in MLB will finish with a worse record than the Red Sox this season?
2.
Question 2. Name the best type of breakfast cereal.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Eh.
Fuck. Fucking.
Know who you're playing with.
Fucking Wheaties. I don't know. I only have Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I've only ever had
great.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, so I don't know. That's the burden of going second.
Going. Not good.
The burden of going second. Oh, that's so good. Sorry. Question 3. There are 7 seasons left on Rafael Devers' contract after this season. How many of those 7 years will be spent with the Giants?
6.
Question 3. Sorry, so question 4. How many combined All-Star games will the vaunted trio of Roman Anthony, Christian Campbell, and Marcelo Meyer make in their MLB careers?
I still believe in Roman, so I'm going to say 4.
Big belief.
Yeah.
I mean, making 4 All-Star teams is a good career.
Yeah.
Be
Yeah.
good.
No. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The fuck you got laughing at? Fucking lawn gnome looking bitch.
Fuck you.
Oh, whoa.
You got chicken tenders on your shirt.
Whoa.
Careful.
All right. Anyway, continuing. Last question.
Mm-hmm.
And this is going to be right up your alley, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Name the most abundant bird in North America.
The pigeon.
Great. Thank you.
Why are you laughing, Tyler? That's probably the correct answer.
I don't know. I
Before-
felt pretty
so-
good about mine.
Before you got on, T said he didn't know what abundant meant. So
Yeah,
I was
so
picturing he
that's-
was like honey mustard. This goes best with chicken. Final answer.
I'm guessing we've got a fucking endangered animal is my guess from Milky, because that's probably what he heard abundant and was like, oh yeah, something that there's not a lot of the
The
dodo.
hornbill grouse. Final answer.
Yeah. Can I choose the shoebill, please?
Justin,
All
I'm going
right.
to need you to remove my answer from the record.
Oh, no. No.
No?
Buddy, that's not even, your answer to that question is not even close to your worst answer so far.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you've got multiple zeros. You've got multiple off the board answers. All right, let's go through the points here.
Okay.
And see which team brought it home. Will it be Tyler and Dallas, or will it be Coley and Jared? Question
I
number
like my
1.
chances.
How many teams in MLB will finish with a worse record than the Red Sox this season? What I'm going to tell you guys is no ground was made by either team on this one because everybody had the consensus. Tyler said 3, Dallas then said 2. Coley said 3, Jared said 2. So we're both getting 92 points out of this one because those are the top 2 answers. So
Good
well done.
answers. Good answers.
Good answers, everybody.
Job, Ross.
48 number for the record. Number 2 was or 2 teams was the number 1 answer with 48. 3 teams was 44 points. So as I said, 92 to 92 through question number 1. Question number 2.
If the answer is 2, that means that they are going to improve.
It does. Yes, because right now there's
Yeah.
only one team worse.
Yeah.
Question number 2. Name the best type of breakfast cereal. Tyler started us off here.
Oh, God.
The foundation of all breakfast cereals, arguably Cheerios. 21 points. That's tied for the second most common answer. Dallas said Fruit Loops. That is on the board, which is the good thing. The bad news is that it's the 7th most common answer. You only get 9 points out of that total.
That is tough.
So we're going to go up to 122 points for the two of you combined on that question. Coley and Jared. Coley said Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I obviously crafted this question with Coley in mind as our guest, as I try to do. He came through. I mean, what are you going to do? 49 points for Cinnamon Toast Crunch. That's the number one overall answer. Of course, 28 more points than the next closest, which was a 3-way tie between Cheerios, Frosted Flakes, and Lucky Charms. Where you will find Wheaties on that list, 2 points.
Okay. More than 0.
So tied with Special K.
Technically, I have back-to-back number 1 answers.
Tied with Special K.
Tied with Corn Flakes, Kix, Rice Krispies, Special K, Waffle Crisp.
I will be fair to Jared. Cheerios belongs right next to Wheaties. Like Cheerios is not that great good.
What's the number 2 answer?
Brand.
The number 2 answer was a 3-way tie between Cheerios, Frosted Flakes, and Lucky Charms.
I thought you'd have Charms for me. I definitely thought you would come through with Charms.
If you were to ask me what my number 2 was, I would have said Count Chocula, but I was like, that's not going to be on the board.
No.
Yeah,
But you had Wheaties.
I just went like, what's like a generic fucking cereal, I guess, at that point.
Nobody's bought a box of Wheaties in 35 years.
No. Unless you're on the box, you're not buying those.
Captain Crunch and Reese's Puffs were the only other double-digit point answers. So if you're curious.
Crunch.
So through 2 questions, it's Tyler and Dallas 122 and Jared and Coley 143. So 21 points separates anyone's game. Question 3. Rafael Devers. How many more seasons is he going to spend of the 7 that remain on his contract after this season with the San Francisco Giants? Tyler said 4. That was the 5th most common answer. That's 16 points. Dallas, he said 5. That's the 6th most common answer, 15 points. So you guys gain another 31 points out of this question to bring you up to 153. Jared and Coley. Coley said 1. Coley asked if he was limited to whole numbers. He wanted fractionals. So really thinking this one through. I like where his head's at. It got him to a good place, though, because 42 was the number 2 overall answer. That's worth 42 points on its own. Jared said 6. He's a little bit more optimistic, or maybe pessimistic.
Yeah,
maybe
I think pessimistic.
I think pessimistic about their ability to move him, about how stuck they are with him. I think I'm with Jared maybe more on this one. Unfortunately, the Discord was not. That was worth only 8 total points. That was the second least common answer of all answers that remained. Somebody said
what the fuck
8.
did you say, Tyler?
No. Somebody said 8, which was
what did you say?
No.
Yeah, what did you say?
Coley's carrying.
I literally had the number 1 answer for the first 2 questions.
Did you?
Yes.
I had the number 2, the number 1, and the number 2. Is that?
Yeah, he just didn't get credit for one.
I also misunderstood the question. I thought like
which one?
I thought you were asking me how many seasons will he have in
stupid is not an excuse.
In another organization. I'm not stupid. I have the number 1 answers.
So through
except for this one.
We're doing okay with put down so far. Pretty tame. Everybody's doing a great job. 193 to 153 through 3 questions. So it's a 40-point separation. But with the way Family Feud works, it's anybody's game still.
A lot of time.
We'll see whether that's true through question 4. How many combined All-Star games will the vaunted trio of Anthony, Campbell, and Meyer make in their MLB careers? It's a tough one. These numbers are very low for what they would have been at the start of the season.
Where was 45 on the poll?
45 off the board. So that's good that we pivoted from that, although the record will show your enormous amount of faith that remains in the 3.
That's all I wanted.
15 each. Yep. Tyler, he remains easily, well, not easily, but the most optimistic overall. He said 7 combined All-Star appearances.
Oh, Jesus.
That is
They're all going to Roman.
That's the 5th most common answer. You got some points here, 24 points. So certainly not nothing. That brings you up to 176 through that answer. Dallas said 3. The second most common answer, but only 2 more points, 26 points. I shouldn't say only, but not much separated some of these answers. That brings you up to 202. So again, the second most common answer for Dallas with the 3rd answer. So congrats to him there. Coley, he said 6. That was the 6th most common answer 19 points, so a little bit off of his previous pace there. We're up to 212, so still in the lead without even Jared's point total. Jared guessed 4. That was tied for the 4th most common answer, 24 points. So we're up to 236. Some ground made, not much ground made. It is a 34-point game with 1 question remaining.
What was the number one answer there?
But it's a big one. 5. 35 points. For some reason, that had some separation from all the others.
That's crazy.
I know, it seems arbitrary, and it is. The highest answer anybody gave was 15. That got 3 votes. And 0 combined All-Star games would have gotten you 8 points. And the last question, which of course this could all swing on, because it's a very annoying question. Tyler, to the most abundant bird in North America, you don't see them often, but they are incredibly abundant.
Fuck.
And who was the one who said he would name an endangered species?
Me.
Your teammate. I don't know if they're still on the list. They've definitely spent most of my life on it. The eagle.
Oh my God. You gotta be fucking
I thought
kidding
abundant
me.
meant big.
When did you? That's good. That's
Kind
good.
of.
It does
Kind of.
in a sense of population, but just not the way you thought of it. We all learned something today, win or lose, and that's what
The
abundant
pterodactyl.
means. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, the condor, but of course.
Fuck, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. It is okay. 10 points though. You did not strike out. You got that is
You know
remarkably the 5th most common answer.
that is-
So I think a lot of people panicked in something of the way that you did, or maybe you just thought that was the right answer. But that brings you up to 212. That's not the sort of ground we're looking to make. Pigeon, which is what Dallas said. But of course, Jared also said it. So kind of boxed in here. That was the number 1 overall answer. 61 points for the pigeon.
Fucking
That brings Dallas and Jared Dallas and Tyler up to 283.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it brings Jared and Coley up to 297. So they win. Coley said,
I choked.
Victory!
Coley requested the chicken. That is the 7th most common answer. You get 7 points.
That's
Milky.
wrong.
We're
That's
just-
wrong in the Discord.
The crow.
There
Where's
are more
the crow
chickens
at?
than crows. There are certainly
Where's the
more
crow?
chickens than crows.
The crow is number 4. That was
no,
14
no.
points.
The
The
correct
the
answer
robin.
is the American robin. Yeah.
The robin is the correct answer. And that was the 2nd most common answer from the Discord, which would have gotten you
Smart.
34 points.
Smart people.
Yeah, pretty
Where's
good
the blue
actually
jay on that?
for the Blue Jay. 3 points. I do love a good Blue Jay. Also love a good Cardinal.
Yeah, great birds.
Mhm.
I was between pigeon and chicken, and to me, there are just billions of chickens in captivity that I don't think were accounted for in this poll.
It's possible. It's possible that they weren't accounted for in the thinking nor in the polling of the question. I do want to shout out though the 3 baseball birds. According to the Discord, the Cardinal reigns supreme. 18 for the Cardinal, 3 for the Blue Jay, and 3 for the Oriole. So some work to do for the AL birds.
The fucking eagle. The eagle.
I mean,
heard they're
not
doing
to
better.
not to put it all on Tyler, but in an alternate universe,
Mhm.
in an alternate universe where he doesn't say the eagle
Sure.
We win.
and says the robin, you guys
They
win
still
by
lose.
3 points.
They win?
Yeah.
The,
I let the
final
team down
the
today.
final margin was only 21 points.
Chicken was a good answer in terms of like how many chickens there are in the country. It was a bad answer for this poll.
Yeah. 304 to 283 is the final score. So Jared and Coley are the victors. Congratulations. Our guests improved to 2-0. So that's a fun little streak we've got going.
The next time the next time I see you, Milky, you should be forced to have me baby bird you soup into your mouth.
It's what I deserve. It's what I want.
I mean, neither of you guys are getting Cinnamon Toast Crunch is crazy. Crazy.
I
Never
know.
had
We
it.
both said it.
That was a buckle job on my part. I went Fruit Loops.
That was the game, right?
I got it was that. Yeah, I got one of those Costco double bags of Cinnamon Toast Crunch a couple weeks ago. Ate every single square. Not a single other person in my family accounted for either in the double bag. It was one of the more grotesque
They didn't
things
want it
I've
bad
done
enough.
recently. Yeah,
That's an
no,
issue.
they didn't. That's what I said. My wife was like, "You're going to eat that all?" I was like,
Yeah.
"It's been here for a week and a half. You've had many opportunities.
What am I to do?
Yeah.
You see
My
me
hands
eating it
are
every
tied.
single night in front of you." Anyway, yeah, Cinnamon Toast Crunch was the game. That's another way to look at it. So it's not all on Tyler, of course. It's never one play.
But what did he say? Chex Mix for cereal? What was his cereal again?
Cheerios.
Cheerios.
Okay, so number 2, not terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did Tyler have any number 1 answers?
This week,
No. Yeah.
he did not.
Okay. Just asking.
He had a number 2.
He was doing
He
a
had a
lot of
number 2.
laughing at my answers. I'm just, as a 3-time number 1 answer guy, for at least for this round, I just want to make sure he had some number 1 answers, but it doesn't seem like he did.
Yeah, I'm going to take the high road here. Sometimes you go out there, you post, you try to perform, you don't have it.
I don't think
just
you've ever
happy-
posted.
I'm just happy to give my team a chance today. Unfortunately, I should have been better.
Yeah. I mean, by my estimation, I know that there's plenty of listeners out there who track all the data. I don't know that you've ever gotten a number 1 answer.
I definitely have.
I'm so excited for the new era of data tracking with the 2v2.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to need the most outrageous answers. We need that tracked as well.
Yeah.
Coley, do you understand that this fucking guy, when asked to name a carnivorous predator
Oh, God.
in North America, he dropped an elephant?
They kill villages of people.
I don't eat them.
Yeah.
North America!
Just getting eaten alive by an elephant.
There are,
Like, how does
there
this
are
even
0
work?
elephants wandering around North America.
They take people, they drown them, and I don't know. Who knows what happens afterwards? Maybe they do eat them.
They don't.
I mean, there's definitely elephants in North America, but they're definitely not, in
They're not
the
wild.
Yeah.
You're not going to run across a fucking herd of elephants in
they're not.
Wyoming.
They're not
That's
wild.
not a-
They're not
No.
carnivorous. They're not.
no.
I've never been on the West Coast. I don't know what's popping over there.
I've never
I don't know what's
on the
popping
West
over there.
Coast.
There
Just
is
like-
not
Mexico
elephants.
might be full of elephants. We
Walking
really don't
around
know.
Seattle, and it's just like, what the fuck?
That's why the Space Needle is so high, dude. It's to keep it,
Yeah.
out of the reach of the elephant.
Keep all those giraffes out.
Yeah.
Holy
What do they
shit.
call like a grouping of elephants?
A herd.
Is it a herd
Or
or a
pack.
gaggle?
I thought it was like a
That's a
stampede
geese.
of elephants.
That's
Yeah.
geese.
What is a group?
A murder?
Herd. It's a herd.
Yep,
It's a herd.
Okay.
It's a herd.
You heard?
There's a herd of elephants. I want to meet the asshole that got to decide all that.
What is it? A flamingo? It's like a dazzle of flamingos or some shit.
They're matriarch animals.
Murder of crows.
A group of flamingos is famously called a flamboyance.
Interesting.
Flamboyance of flamingos.
Makes sense.
Flamboyance
That's
of
unbelievable.
flamingos.
Love
I
that.
love that.
So, yeah. So per Reddit, not verified. Worth noting. Yeah, some of these are says like obviously a crash of rhinos,
Of what
a
now?
bloat of hippopotamuses. Is this true? Or am I reading something that's horseshit?
I
No,
mean,
there
it's
are
Reddit.
a lot of them are not herd. Like herd is kind of.
I mean, they're just saying words. Like you could tell me
Yeah.
almost anything. I feel like an idiot not knowing
Like,
whether
what
these
are giraffes? What is that?
group of giraffes.
Oh, zebras was a dazzle. It's a dazzle of zebras.
They're called a tower.
A tower of giraffes.
So this is from.
So a herd is a standard term. So they're still used. That's kind of still used. I've never heard of a tower. This is all bullshit. They just started doing this right before we started this segment.
I've got it from Encyclopedia Britannica. Alligators is a congregation of alligators, colony of ants, of course.
Praise
a troop,
Jesus.
troop of baboons.
A troop of baboons.
A kaleidoscope of butterflies. That goes kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think
Uh,
flamboyance is still my favorite. That's
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
badass.
Yeah,
I got flamboyance and kaleidoscope being 1 and 2.
I knew Dazzle was something. It was
Dazzle was
zebras.
pretty solid.
Yeah.
Who gets to decide this? And what is
Like
it based on?
The first one.
Yeah,
to see 'em.
I was gonna say it's like a comet. You know,
for
the first
for
one to see the
Ravens,
comet.
it's just called a conspiracy of Ravens. They're like, we don't
hell?
trust anything we're looking at right here. We don't. These fellas are up to something.
A
They are.
conspiracy?
Shout out Alfred Hitchcock.
Yeah.
Edgar Allan Poe.
Quote the Raven nevermore.
Mm-hmm. Died in Baltimore
In the
on the
streets.
streets,
He had to go.
I guess.
He had to go.
Yeah.
What's your beef with Poe, dude?
I just remember reading like that story about, I think it was like someone was in his house and his heart was beating out of his chest.
The
and it gave
telltale
me-
heart.
Yeah, it gave me an anxiety attack in 8th grade. Like watching it, and I started thinking about my own heart, and then I had to go to the nurse's office and lie down.
That's kind of like the whole point, actually. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, he
Fucked
nailed
me
it.
up.
He nailed it.
Yeah. From the grave, he did it. Edgar Allan Poe from the grave put tea in the nurse's
box.
office.
I thought when you started telling that, I thought you read The Telltale Heart as like a biography of Poe. Like he had this situation where he was just sitting there on his bed and his heart started beating and he had to go. You know, it's like Wow.
Like when he mentioned the ringing in his ears, I remember being in class and like, I think I can hear the ringing. I was like, this isn't good. Like I haven't had lunch yet. I need a
You
That
had
was
high-
probably
but-
more what it was. Your
Yeah.
blood sugar was low.
You had high
the problem.
thoughts as an 8th grader.
Yes.
the telltale glucose. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Shout out to the McMahon for making his BID
Yes.
debut.
Thank you.
On Family Feud. Wonderful job. Got the dub. And yeah, we'll be doing this again. Justin Havens has posted to the Baseball is Dead blog. Yep.
Yes, indeed.
Yep. We're on the board.
We are
We're on the
Jackson
board.
Holiday. Go check it out. Yeah, people have been commenting. Go be part of the conversation as it relates to the Jackson Holiday article. Started another one. Should have another one to post either later today or tomorrow, depending on what time I get to it. But that'll be exciting as well. So yeah, we're off and running.
I think the only other thing that I wanted to point out was on the Mets front, the David Peterson trade last night to the Cubs, coming off the 6-error game over the weekend. Coley's got me all fucked up. But the 6-error game, I think it's like Simeon had to, Lindor started it. Like Lindor booted a ball, like the first opportunity you got to start the game. Simeon booted a couple. Bo fucked one up at third. And Vientos, I think Vientos fucked up 2 plays at first. So
Yeah, at least he's hitting though, right?
it's bad. It got to the point where in the 8th or the 9th inning, the fans in Queens were chanting Pete Alonso.
It is funny
it's
how
not like he's even having a good year.
no.
I
The
mean,
Mets
he's
in the-
recovered a little bit.
He's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. He's not having like a monster year for Baltimore, but the
I'm
whole
not
first
shitting.
impression thing. He got off to a slow start. He's recovered decently.
Yep.
No, I think it's funny. The Mets and Red Sox, the similarities, even down to the disaster the Red Sox went through defensively, to the Mets going through that, and Carlos Mendoza after the game having no words, just being, what can I tell you? What can I do for you? What can I say? We suck defensively, and I don't know how to really fix it right now.
Yeah. It was their entire infield.
Sorry, though.
Their entire infield in that game.
They'll get a huge haul for Freddie Peralta. It's going to be okay.
Yeah.
You think huge?
He's kidding.
No.
He's kidding.
I was being sarcastic.
Yeah. They put Senga in the bullpen.
Yeah, it's going well, man.
Felt overdue. Poor Clem, man. He don't give a fuck. That the Knicks won.
Man. He's living. All those Knicks Mets people are fine. We don't need to feel badly for him.
Yeah. Kevin's doing great.
Yeah, he's posting videos and photos and best time of his life. I'm seeing. Yeah, it's all. Fuck all those guys, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. So the BID Patreon, patreon.com/BaseballIsDead. Use the promo code baseball at checkout and you'll get a discount. It's existing Section 10 subscribers can get the starting 9 package at 50% off, and you will get 3 months free of your existing Section 10 subscription. And then new subscribers can get the starting 9 package for 50% off for the year, or you can get the starting 9 and Catch-Up Crew for 50% off for the year combined. So we are offering the BID Section 10 packages as a combo with a discount, or you'll get a discount if you are already a Section 10 subscriber and now you want to get the BID package. Use the promo code BASEBALL at checkout to receive your discount. You're going to get the BID book club. Blogs are going to be on there. We're going to be starting the drafts soon, probably next week, I would imagine. And then the video game streams, and there's more where that comes from. Jay, hey, do you have any award-winning nugs today?
I do, baby.
Yeah, let's hear 'em.
Yes. Let's focus on Dansby Swanson here for a second because, oh my God, has his season turned around in a hurry.
Yeah, grand slam.
Cubs shortstops with 7 RBI in a game. It's just Dansby Swanson and Ernie Banks in August of 1955. Cubs number 9 hitters with 7 RBI in a game. Christian Bettencourt in August of 2024 and Dansby Swanson last night. 7 RBI in a game by a shortstop hitting 9th. Let's combine both of them. That's just 4 players in MLB history. Brian Giles, the other one, in May of 1990. Ramon Vasquez in 2007, Ceddanne Rafaela in April of 2024, and Dansby Swanson, of course, yesterday. Dansby Swanson picked up 13 RBI in a span of 11 plate appearances from June 23rd to 24th. He had 10 RBI in 173 plate appearances in 43 games from April 25th to June 20th. Would you believe that the only players in MLB history to have a 6-game stretch featuring at least 18 RBI, 7 extra base hits, and 4 stolen bases are Dansby Swanson on what he's done over the last handful of days and Shohei Ohtani in September of 2024. Those are the only players in MLB history to do that. So that's the run that Swanson is on. And of course, there was a sustained stretch this year where he was the very worst hitter in baseball. And has been the very best hitter in baseball of late. From June 17th to the present, he has a 339 weighted runs created and an OPS approaching 1,700. From May 1st to June 16th, it was 434 and a weighted runs created of 26. That's baseball for you. Moving off of Dansby Swanson for a moment, though, Samuel Basallo, 21 years, 315 days. He had a multi-homer game yesterday. He's the youngest AL catcher with a multi-homer game since Joe Mauer on June 30th, 2004. Really something. There's been a lot of disappointment in Baltimore. This might be a case where we're going to get some good news because he's also signed up to a long-term deal, of course. So they have him under contract for quite a while. Paul Goldschmidt, we gave him some love. He's the oldest Yankees player with 2 homers in a game since Carlos Beltran over a decade ago, May 9th, 2016. And he's the oldest to do so on the road since the Rod himself, the Emmy winner, Alex Rodriguez, July 25th, 2015. Couple more for you. Braxton Ashcraft, he delivered another big one yesterday. Would you believe he's the first pitcher in Pirates franchise history, him, not Paul Skeens, to have multiple 10K, 0-walk outings in a single season. Mookie Betts, not sure if you saw this, former Red Sox great. He is the 89th player. What's 3 fingers? Oh, 300. Yeah,
300 home run?
Yeah. 89th player. I didn't know if that was like I have to interrupt, like I'm putting up 3 fingers. This is an emergency sort of thing. Mookie Betts is the 89th player in MLB history to record 300 or more homers and 400 or more stolen bases, with just a handful more, 400 more doubles with a handful more stolen bases. He'll become the 19th player ever with 300 homers, 400 doubles, and 200 stolen bases. Pretty cool. And we'll end on a positive note. Jared Carabas, a guy I follow on Twitter, check him out for a lot of Red Sox and national baseball content. He tweeted, worst Red Sox team ever 19 hours ago. I decided, wow, that seems a bit extreme. Let's go look at that a little bit. Well, more or less right, though. The Red Sox current win percentage of .410 would be the worst mark in a non-shortened season for the Red Sox in over 60 years. It's when they went 62-100 back in 1965. They had a .383 win percentage that year. Obviously, COVID 2020 is being thrown out here. So yeah, potentially the worst Red Sox season of your life. And for people who are not yet 60 years old, I mean, that's ever, right? So those are the Nugs.
Yeah, it is it feels like an episode of Black Mirror for me.
Yeah, love that show.
Yeah, because it's like I'm actually being gaslit where the information is this is the worst Red Sox team of your entire life and like multiple decades prior to you being born. Worst Red Sox team. But the
when were your parents born?
Probably 1960.
Yeah. Okay. So your parents were like, 4, 5, 6 years old, somewhere in that ballpark, the last time a team was this bad for the Red Sox.
Yeah. And it's like I'm seeing all the information that this is the worst Red Sox team I'll probably ever see in my life. But the people who are in charge of fixing it and doing something about it are telling me almost daily, don't worry. You just wait. Like the big reveal is coming. We're actually a good team.
Ken Rosenthal murdered them again today.
And then I sit down and I tune in every night and I'm not fooled because I'm not insane. I'm not letting them gaslight me. They're attempting to, but I'm not letting it happen. But I'll sit down and watch them either have a lead and then go on to lose in horrendous fashion, or I will watch the opposing team score 2 runs in the first inning and then be able to say, well, this game's over, and not have it come back to bite me in the ass like, oh, you gave up on them. Like, no, I correctly pointed out that they are not able to overcome a 2-run deficit, even if they have 9 innings to do so. If you go up 2, it's done. It's over. So to sit through a team like that and be told that I'm the problem, well, it surely makes for a unique experience. So, yeah.
Well, sorry about it, bud.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I do. T, do you have a final thought?
Just happy to see Connor Griffin have his first rehab game back yesterday. Went 2 for 2, had a homer, a triple. I think if the Pirates are going to kind of find their footing, while we all may have had maybe higher expectations or thought things would be going a little bit better at this point in time, him getting back into the mix, I do think is a very key proponent to all of that. And I do just want to add one thing on the Peterson front with that trade, just so we know context for really the first deal that's happened so far this year outside of the Patrick Bailey one, now over a month ago. It was Cole Mathis who was the return, number 9 prospect in the Cubs system, 23rd in farm system rankings for, where the Cubs are at entering the year. So that's kind of just the price for a guy in David Peterson who was more on the outside than the inside on a team that already is having starting pitching issues. But it's good to know where some of these lines are being drawn at this point in the year, because with all the injuries, Cabrera, Brown, the Cubs had to make a move. They probably weren't going to get desperate for a bigger fish at this point in time. So it makes sense to find someone like that is more of a holdover, but something to keep an eye on when, you're trying to ship pitchers out if your team's selling at the trade deadline.
I'll pick up off that for my final thought too, because my final thought is Cubs Brewers this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3-game series. Starting pitching is Mizorowski against TBD, Harrison against TBD, and Woodruff against TBD. So good luck to the Cubs. They are getting everything that the Brewers have in terms of their starting rotation. And I don't know that we have any real hopes of the Cubs making a climb back into the NL Central, but this could be a particularly rough series. We'll see how it goes.
I'm just now seeing the video of the aftermath of the Dalton Rushing Shohei Ohtani situation, where Freddie Freeman like sat next to him in the dugout and was having a conversation with him, and then Dave Roberts sat next to him and put his arm around him. Yeah, it's tough. So, but anyways, yeah, it feels weird that this is the last episode of the week because I wasn't here for the first two, but it's like, yeah, like I'm like ready to get back. I feel like it's Monday. I'm like, yeah, like we'll see you on Wednesday, but today is Thursday. So appreciate everyone listening and for the whole week and checking out the interviews and supporting on social. Like I say at the end of some of these episodes, it's super helpful if you know baseball fans and you're like, hey, check out Baseball is Dead. Word of mouth, something that you personally enjoy and you're endorsing it to your other baseball fan friends. That's how this thing grows. So it's with the help of all of you guys that we're able to do that. So we appreciate it very, very much. Enjoy your weekend of baseball, and we'll see you right back here on Monday for more Baseball is Dead.